press pause, put the controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo.
And I am still alive, even though it doesn't quite sound like it.
On death row, my friend. On death row.
Yeah, kind of feels that way.
This is the first episode 28. First episode of 2025. Obviously, we've taken a few weeks off. One for the holidays and two for you being dead.
Yeah, I've been incredibly
three,
ill.
I guess. Yeah.
This is the first opportunity we've had where I've been able to reliably speak, and even then, it's not exactly.
You sound like Batman. Or
Yeah,
Bane.
It's not exact. Oh, don't get me doing the Bane thing.
No, don't do that. Don't do any voices. just use your normal voice. Yeah, so obviously there's a lot to talk about today, so we're just going to jump right in. Let's start things off with housekeeping and corrections. No corrections this week, but as a reminder, we are on Spotify for an audio-only version of Press Pause a Gaming Podcast. If you want that link, it's in the description, so make sure you check that out. And for those of you who haven't been checking the channel, Wrestling Renaissance has been going these past 3 weeks, and we debuted our new logo. Credit to Andrew for the awesomeness that is the new logo, and sort of refreshed our thumbnails as well, and it looks much better than it used to. So
I just discovered there's a mute button, so I'll be using that instead of coughing into the mic.
Yeah, I've got a mute button on my microphone, so I
just have
never
one
pointed
on the
that out.
interface here.
Yeah, it should work. So yeah. Go check out the Wrestling Renaissance stuff if you are a professional wrestling fan. Lots of good stuff over there. All right. What have we been playing? What did we play over the holidays? I don't know how much you have to share here.
A little bit, but not much. I was too sick to play video games for quite a while. I was well enough to sit up and then just
watch TV.
Observe things on my... Oh my god. Fucking spam call coming in.
The fraud police are here.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. All right. Well, I'm just gonna
6:50 p.m.
I'm just gonna sit on that.
Gotta love them.
Yeah, I was so ill that I wasn't able. Like I've only been able to like play Stalker within the last day or so. I finally picked that up again, so I haven't done much with that. I did play Power Rangers Rita's Rewind with my niece.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty good. It's it's a standard beat 'em up. It doesn't have a whole lot besides punching enemies. There's some dodge stuff. There's jump attacks, but it's fairly standard beat 'em up. Okay. The kind of thing that is on your own, very monotonous and not super entertaining, but obviously it's meant to be played with other people. And when you're playing it with other people, it's good.
Is it 4 players?
It is 5 players.
Oh, Green Ranger?
Well, I assume the thing is, I think you get the Green Ranger after you beat the game, and I assume it becomes 6 player.
6 player, yeah, that'd be cool.
But
that's chaos, though. That's a lot. That's a lot of players.
Yeah. So I was playing it with my niece, and she was having a pretty good time with it, and so was I. Until we hit the special stages. So there are those the Space Harrier style special stages.
Yeah.
Which I was fine with because, playing video games forever, and I've played a lot of Space Harrier. She's 6, and she was...
Not so much of a...
Yeah, she was struggling with that. And then there's
They don't have any accessibility settings or anything like that for kids?
Not something that would make it easy enough for her. She just needs to learn video games more. Yeah. Like I said, she's 6, so it'll come with time.
Yeah.
But one thing that we did have a little bit of trouble with was the Megazord section, which is... Do you remember Mystical Ninja starring Goemon on the N64? You remember there was the Goemon Impact battles where you're in the robot?
Heck yeah, I do.
It's kind of like that, where you're punching from a first-person perspective.
But in 2D.
But in like that sort of pseudo 3D, 2D thing. Everything's like a cardboard cutout.
Mm.
It actually looks really good.
Oh, okay.
But it's the controlling it that's a little bit weird. It's almost a rhythm game in a way.
Huh.
You and I didn't understand it at first. What you have to do is you have to punch. We got to Goldar, and so we punching Goldar and building up a section of a meter to summon the sword. The power sword comes down and finishes off the monster.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that's what it was at first. So we're just kind of awkwardly swatting, not really understanding it.
Gotcha.
She doesn't understand what it is, and I'm not quite clear on it either. And then Goldar will jump away, and you have to advance towards him, and he'll also shoot fireballs, and you have to dodge that. I don't think it's possible to die, but you do get knocked back and kind of have to start filling the meter up again.
Mm.
Um,
A little tedious.
it was a little tedious and a little frustrating for her. And the other thing is that because we were playing 2-player, once I figured it out and I filled up a section of the bar, I think it's like 4 or 5 quadrants or sections on a bar that you fill up, and I would fill up a section, and then they would do a thing where it's like, all right, guys, they would do like a pose thing, let's do this, and then things would change, and I wasn't sure what was going on. It took a few times to realize, oh, control is being handed over to player 2. She's controlling the Megazord now.
Oh,
and
weird.
It like in retrospect, it makes sense because it showed the Pink Ranger doing like a hype up catchphrase, like "All right, guys, let's do it." But it didn't say player 2 is now in control. It wasn't immediately obvious. It's like once I figured it out, I was like, oh, okay, that's what that means. But I didn't. It wasn't immediately obvious to me. It wasn't immediately obvious to her.
Well, it's kind of a new feature. For a game like that, that's a smart idea to.
It's a smart idea, but I think they should have communicated it to the players better.
Yeah.
Because if I'd been playing, if I'd been playing on my own, it wouldn't have happened. If I'd been playing with you, I probably would have figured it out faster. But she's like, Uncle Andrew, what's happening? And I'm like, I'm not actually sure. Like I'm basically trying to wrangle her.
Yeah.
And tell her how to play without fully understanding it myself. So it took me a little longer to clue in. I
Gotcha.
do think just a little message, the Pink Ranger is now in control. Something like that would have been nice to have, because it took us
Which isn't minutes. Yeah, and it's not even going to take you out of the experience because it's already like an arcade type experience. So
yeah. So
design flaw.
It was a little bit rough. I've heard that they are doing some things or have done some things. I haven't kept up to date because I've been sick.
Yeah.
But there's been some tweaking of that to make it a little more user-friendly.
Doesn't surprise me. They updated the crap out of Shredder's Revenge, so wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So there was there's some tweaking to be done, or has been done there.
How's the music?
The music's amazing. It's Power Rangers.
I want to play it.
What do you expect? It's fantastic.
I expect good things, but you never know with these games. You never know.
Well, they've finally made like a good Power Rangers beat 'em up. That's the takeaway from this. Is it absolutely perfect? No, but it's a hell of a lot better than anything we've got before. And
makes me wonder what that team's going to do next. They've done Ninja Turtles. Now they've done Power Rangers. What's the next classic?
Transformers.
Yeah, there's never really been a good Transformers game.
Well, there was Transformers Devastation. You can't buy it anymore, but it was there. That was the cel-shaded one. That's they got back a bunch of the old voice actors and everything, and they made it look like the old show. That's a pretty good game. That was made by Platinum.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, man, Platinum did a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll talk about that during the news. Because there's been some changes with regards to Platinum.
Oh, it's not in my news.
Oh, really?
No, I must have not heard about it.
You mean you didn't hear that Hideki Kamiya has left Platinum and is now back at Capcom?
Oh, right. He's doing Okami.
Okami 2.
That's right. Yeah, we talked about that on the last show, whatever that was.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Huh.
So I don't know. But those folks, they do good work.
Yep.
So
For sure.
That was overall a decent experience. I'd like to play it again, but I'd like to play it again with her. So I haven't played it on my own. Excuse me. There we go.
The mute button's working.
Yeah. The other thing I played was actually something that you recommended, which was Tunic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Gonna be honest, I wasn't crazy about it.
How far are you?
I got to I don't remember. I only played it a few times and I refunded it.
What?
I like the art. The art was cute and the gimmick was cool. I hated the way it controlled. It just everything felt a little off to me. And for an action game, that was I don't know if it was the perspective or what, but I often felt like hits weren't connecting when they should be and were connecting when they shouldn't. And it goes both ways. Like there would be times where I'd hit an enemy and I'd go, I don't think I should have hit him.
And you were using a controller?
Yeah. And there were also times where an enemy like sword goes right through me and I didn't get hit. And I'm like, wait, what? Is this just because of the camera angle or?
That sounds like a problem with the PC version then, because I didn't have any issues with the.
I don't know what to tell you, but
wow,
I didn't want to, refund it, but it was something like $20. I would have been willing to just leave it if it was like $10, but $20 when I've already bought a lot of other games.
If it feels broken, then yeah,
I don't know. It's too bad because I was kind of into the manual thing and trying to figure out what that fictional language was doing, because it clearly does actually say things. It's not just gibberish.
No.
And trying to figure out like, okay, what do these characters mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about it, or do you plan on revisiting it at some point?
I might revisit it. I don't know.
Okay. I'll keep quiet
remains
about it.
To be seen. Okay. But yeah, it's too bad because I did like the gimmick. I thought it was interesting.
It's great. Yeah.
There were other things about it that I didn't like though. Like enemies don't drop health.
It's very difficult. Yes.
Like
it's a hard game.
Well, it's not even that it was hard. It's that like if you're gonna do a riff on Zelda, which is what this is.
Yeah, but it's also kind of soulsy.
Yeah,
you basically have to make it through to a certain point.
It's not balanced in the right way for that. I feel like I think they should have leaned more Zelda on it.
I agree with that for sure. I agree with that. Once you get it though, it clicks, and maybe it just didn't click for you. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
It took me a while to like be like, oh, I get it now. You know what I mean? There's certain things that happen and stuff that you kind of come around to where you're like, oh, okay, and then like things just kind of like fall into place. But I do agree, it could have been better in that regard, and it probably should have happened sooner. But it's also kind of open-ended. Like it's not a linear game. You can kind of do a lot of stuff in different order.
Yeah, I figured it was probably like that.
It's not completely open. Like there are certain places that you just can't go until you get something specific.
Sure.
But there is multiple paths that you can take for sure, and it's easy to get lost in that game. That is a game that you cannot put down and go to another game and play.
Yeah.
Because when you come back, you'll be like, where was I going? Because there's no like quest log or like,
Yeah.
So that's a bummer.
Yeah, I like I said, I like the look of it. I like the gimmick. I liked a lot of things about it except actually playing it, which is kind of the death warrant for a game.
Is it on Switch?
It probably. I think I've seen it there.
Maybe the console version would hit you better for whatever reason. I haven't played the PC version, so I don't know. But I never had like combat issues or anything like that. So
I don't know.
Bummer.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, that was it.
All right. So I'm actually missing something from my list here, but I'll make sure I don't forget it. So over the holidays, I had several things. So I received Super Mario RPG Remake for Christmas for the Switch. So I played
Excellent.
that
How
and I
did you
beat it.
like it? Yeah.
Yeah, played it, beat it, loved it. Um, it's definitely a very faithful remake,
Yep.
maybe to a fault in some ways.
Maybe a little bit.
Like there's definitely some things where I was like, yeah, they could have done a little bit more here. They could have added something here. But I mean, as a one-to-one remake, it's very good, and they actually added the whole like the gauge system into it, which made combat a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more
Yeah, the
fun.
combat, I do like the changes where you get
Mhm.
the timed hit that's more powerful, and then the perfectly timed hit that does like the shockwave.
Yeah, the shockwave
Because
hit.
then
Yeah,
it just helps you get through
it
the.
never really explained that that's there though. I did have that problem. I didn't figure that out until like halfway through the game, and then I was like, wait a minute, is that random or am I just hitting it perfectly?
Yeah, you gotta nail it
You gotta
perfectly.
nail it perfectly.
I figured it out early on, but I can absolutely see how it
Because it
would.
doesn't tell you. It teaches you the
No.
timed hits, but it
Yeah.
doesn't teach you the, oh, you know what? I skipped the time tutorial because I thought I knew.
Oh,
I wonder
maybe.
if it I wonder if it tells you in that tutorial about the
Maybe
the
I don't
super hits.
remember because
Yeah.
I played it long enough ago that I don't remember the tutorial.
Yeah. Yeah, I skipped it. Because Toad asks you, he's like, do you know about timed hits? And I'm like, yeah, I've played this fucking game a million
Yeah,
times. I
played
don't
this
need to
game
hear
like
that.
30 years ago.
Yeah, maybe I should have watched that. Damn. Okay. Well, maybe that was in there. But yeah, I loved it. The music remixed is fantastic.
I
Um,
like how they give you the option for the old version of the music
yes,
as well.
very cool. But I love the new orchestral
Yeah,
stuff.
the new
It's
stuff sounds great as
amazing.
well.
Yeah. Um,
More and more games are doing that. The
mhm.
Seiken Densetsu 3 remake, Trials of Mana, has the Super Nintendo soundtrack in there as well.
Yeah, I love that stuff, and I will say I'm a little disappointed that games have kind of gone away from, or remakes have kind of gone away from the ability to switch between the visual style though.
Well, that
Because I'm like, that's a miss. It's like it's cool that you gave us
that's
the
hard to match up though.
it is definitely
You have to really build with that in mind.
yeah, for sure. But I still miss it from. I couldn't even tell you what game. Oh, Halo.
Halo
Halo's
Anniversary has it.
yeah, and
Monkey
Halo
Island
2.
Special Edition has it.
Yes, oh, I love that stuff. Oh, I love that
Yeah,
game. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But you have to it's a challenging thing to do. You have to very
Built from the
specifically
ground
build
up
the
for
game
sure.
to do that.
Yeah. I do miss it, but it didn't take away from the game. The game's absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. It doesn't run very well on the Switch, which is very strange.
Yeah, it's some places it's a little
Choppy.
rough,
Yeah,
but
like in Mushroom Kingdom when you're running around the town, which is not a big town, it the frames drop constantly. I'm like, what?
I think they kind of loaded it up with effects work because everything's kind of got it like a soft glow and
Yeah, some reflections and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. Nintendo's usually better at that kind of stuff. I'm like, I
yeah,
understand the Switch is old, but build to the Switch's specs. Don't go above them.
yeah,
But minor gripe.
yeah.
It was still absolutely excellent. Was very surprised when I saw um, a lot of the references that are in the game
Mhm.
from the original that are still in there. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, really? It was cool to see Samus Aran in there and Link in the bed
yeah, yeah,
and the Final Fantasy boss and
yep,
very, very, very faithful. There's nothing in there that isn't in, uh, there's nothing missing. So
yeah.
very faithful remake.
And
Again, to a fault. But
then there's some new post game stuff, which I was kind of like, okay, that's cool, but I don't really.
yeah, what was that? I
I,
tried looking for stuff and I was like, I don't see anything new.
there's like an extra quest after you beat the game. You kind of go back and you rebeat some of the bosses, and
Oh,
it's there. It's take it or leave
how,
it kind of thing.
how do you trigger it? Do
I
you know?
forget. I fucking
Okay, I'll have to
forget.
look that up because
Yeah.
I knew there was post game content, but I like walked around trying to find stuff and I was like, oh, everything seems, because right at the end of the game, it literally pops up a window that says you've unlocked post game content. You can go back and
Hmm.
do all the stuff you missed, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I missed. Also, I couldn't do the Yoshi race.
Uh-oh. Are we getting tech issues already?
What? Can you
We're
not
only
hear me?
20 minutes in.
I'm here.
Well, I guess we'll just wait and see if this resolves itself.
It will. It always does. Doesn't seem to be my internet though.
Oh,
My internet
are
seems
we
to be fine.
back?
I'm here.
There we go. We're back.
Don't know. My internet was fine, so that may have been a Riverside problem.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I never I couldn't beat the Yoshi race.
Oh yeah.
The thing where you have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
The timing, I just couldn't get it down. I was like, I don't remember it being this hard. So I eventually just gave up and was like, whatever. I can't be bothered to try this for the 8th time in a row.
Yeah.
Let's see what else about that game. Yeah, it was just great. I did notice that they dropped the Legend of the Seven Stars name.
Yeah.
From the game. Not sure why that was.
I have no idea.
And my only real gripe, I guess, about the game is that, and this could be about the original as well, but I think the additions they made affected this. It's way too easy. It's so easy.
It's an RPG for beginners.
It really is, but I don't remember it being that easy. That was like I cakewalked through that thing in like 12 hours. It was like I don't think I died. I think I died one time. And it was because I got some bullshit. You know, I got like 2 of my guys got put to sleep.
Yeah.
And then one of them got knocked out, and I was like, well, now I gotta wait. You know, and then it just didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, great game. Highly recommend it. Hopefully, enough people buy it that gives them the incentive to make another one, because I would love another one.
I do not care for Paper Mario. I've talked about that before.
Yeah,
I don't care about Paper Mario. I don't care about Mario and Luigi. I just want Super Mario RPG 2, and I've been banging that drum for decades.
The fact that we don't have another game with Gino or Mallow is bizarre. Very bizarre. Oh, and that music, man. Oh, that music. Mm-hmm. So good. Okay, moving on, because we got a big show. Negative news. I have experienced for the first time in my life stick drift.
Oh, no.
My PlayStation 5 controller's right stick is not centering properly. It is drifting up.
Oh, dear.
I've been playing a lot of Remnant 2, and every time I'm in the menu, the cursor
slowly
doing that, and I'm like, great. That's an expensive problem to fix.
Yeah.
So that sucks. First time it's ever happened in my life, though, so I guess I can count my blessings.
Yeah.
This is the first time. I tried out the Netflix Games beta. I don't know if you know or have heard of the Netflix Games thing.
Yeah, Netflix has games, and I don't know what that means. Like, do you go to the Netflix website and you play them in your browser? Do you play them in an app? Mm-hmm. Like, I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, or just go, you sign into Netflix, and there's a game section. You go to the games, and it lists the games, and you click on one, and you start playing.
Yeah,
it's a cloud streaming service,
and
it works great. I was shocked. No lag, no pixelation. Works great, and I'm on a Wi-Fi based computer.
Has games as well, which is weird.
Yeah, I haven't tried that out. I should try that out too. I don't know if you have to pay extra for it though.
I think you just need an account, but I don't fucking know.
I would assume a premium account. I would guess.
Maybe. I have no idea.
I'll take a look. Take that. Look at that for next week. And then the big game that I've been playing, besides Remnant 2, which I'm still finding secrets after 150 hours of playing that game. That game is insane. Absolutely insane. I can't recommend that game enough. That's a 10 out of 10. That's so good. But the big game I've been playing for the first time is Alan Wake 2. And the opening, I'm in like chapter 4 or 5, I want to say. The opening chapters where you play as the FBI agent are so good. So fantastic. So great. Creepy, mysterious, beautiful game. just dripping with ambiance and style. It's so good. There's this mechanic in the game
By
where
the
you go.
way, not to interrupt, but I'm
Yeah.
going to do so anyway. If we're going to talk about Alan Wake, we got to give a shout out / rest in peace to David Lynch,
Yes.
who just died. Whose showed Twin Peaks as like 1/3 of the DNA in Alan Wake.
Yeah, it absolutely is. There's constant references to Twin Peaks and Twilight Zone and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Also, if you've ever played any game by Hideo Kojima,
yeah,
you're gonna
definitely.
I mean, for fuck's sake, PT had this skinless baby from Eraserhead in it.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Man did not make video games, but boy, was his presence felt in them. Just thought I should put that out there, acknowledge that.
Absolutely. Yeah, just dripping with style. Just absolutely love it. There's this mechanic in the game where you go into your mind place, which is basically your mind palace. You go into your mind and you're in a room.
Is it the fucking lake cabin from the first game, or is it just?
No, it's a cabin that you're staying at in the city, like in what's the place called? Bright Falls. It's just a cabin that she's staying at, like a hotel.
Okay.
And she has, it's kind of like your main menu, basically.
Yeah.
It's like your inventory, and not your inventory, but like it's like your hub for accessing information. But there's this mechanic where you have to go to the mine place. I don't know why they just didn't call it the mine palace. Where you have basically a case board, like those classic detective case boards where they have a picture and they draw lines,
the strings, and trying to find fucking, what was it from Always Sunny?
I never watched that show. I think I watched the first 3 episodes and then.
I
know what you're referring to though.
He's board out.
Yeah. So you have to do that in order to like piece together, the mystery that's happening in the game.
Yeah.
And at first it's very cool, and then eventually you're just like, okay, where does this thing go on the board? Just get rid of it. Why can't it just do it for me at a certain point? It's not. It's supposed to be there to make you feel like you're a detective, but it
starts to feel like busy work eventually.
It's busy work, yeah. It's like why doesn't she just do this for me when I come to the mine place? That being said, the rest of the game is absolutely fantastic. I've started playing as Alan Wake in the 4th or 5th chapter, wherever it is. Now it's sort of on a downturn for me. Really? I've talked about Remedy games before, how they have this. I don't even know what you call it. Just a Remedy-ish weirdness.
There's a valley in the quality.
Not necessarily the quality. It starts to feel weird, like to a point where you're just like, huh? Just not even confused. Just like, okay, this is weird. This is too weird. It's not. It's no longer intriguing. It's just fucking.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly where that point is in Max Payne. It's where you have to follow the fucking trail of blood in his dream when he's drugged up.
Yeah, sometimes
I hate that part.
Remedy has stuff like that in all of their games, and I'm just like, this is where you lose me, guys. Like you go too. I don't even know what you call it. That's why there's a word for it that I'm sure I could find in the dictionary. But for now, I just call it Remedy-ish.
This is why I like the GBA version of Max Payne, because it doesn't have the blood trail level and it doesn't have the burning building level.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's my favorite version of Max Payne.
Did you ever play the Uncharted games?
No.
Okay, never mind then. There's a level like the blood trail level in Max Payne or in Uncharted 3 where you're drugged and you're just wandering around a city aimlessly, but that it's like it's like a scripted sequence, so you're just basically just walking, waiting for it to end, and it's like and it lasts way too long.
I hate that shit.
It was annoying. But anyway, it's getting to the weird Remedy point, and also the pacing of the game is awful. Like it's atrociously bad. There's long stretches of no combat and long stretches of just weirdness and not really going anywhere. Like it just kind of feels aimless, But I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna finish it. but it definitely started strong and is dipping in quality for me. For me personally, the quality is still like the production value is amazing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No problems there. But yeah, I think that's it. All right, let's move on to letter time. It's letter time. We have a letter from Agrocon. Agrocon writes in. With the recent news of Steam OS coming to handheld PCs and Xbox working on a handheld PC OS, could Xbox or Microsoft be looking to compete with Steam, especially with Steam OS not being able to play popular multiplayer games? I don't think so. I think that the Xbox handheld will probably have like an Xbox interface, and it will mostly be there for you to access your Xbox library, including Game Pass. I I would be shocked if it goes beyond that, but it is Microsoft, so they could potentially make it like a Windows handheld OS instead.
It would feel a little bit silly for them to not do that.
Yeah, yeah. I just, at what point does it feel like a Windows handheld PC and not an Xbox handheld gaming system? I think
I don't even know if they know what an Xbox is anymore, because they had that thing.
Everything's an Xbox.
This is an Xbox. Is it though? Microsoft.
Yeah.
If everything is an Xbox, nothing is an Xbox.
And we'll be getting into that in the topic of the week today.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think they're going to compete with Steam. I think Steam's got pretty much a lockdown.
Yeah, I don't think they can compete with Steam.
No, they've been there for so long and have such a hold on that market. You know, I mean, we look at like Epic Games Store and EA Origin and all this other crap that just doesn't go anywhere, and people hate Epic Games Store, and
yeah.
I don't see that happening, but we'll see. All right, a very short Metacritic check-in, because not a whole lot's come out recently, but a couple of things. The first is Alien Rogue Incursion, which is that Alien VR game. That's very similar to what was the one back like five or 6 years ago? Alien Isolation. Getting favorable reviews. It's sitting on a 75 on Metacritic with critics, and an 80 for users. So
that's not bad.
It's doing pretty well. Also, Freedom Wars Remastered came out. It's not doing as well. I haven't really seen any like major media outlets cover this, which is a little bit strange. But its Metascore sitting at a 74. But that's only 18 critic reviews, which is very low. Like, no one's reviewing this for some reason.
No.
But the user score is 52.
Oh.
So I don't know what the deal is there.
Sounds like there's something wrong with it.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is there. So I'm hoping that we get a review from some major publishers, because like I look at the list and I'm like, I don't know any of the. Game Rant's probably the only one I know on this list. Yeah. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD Remaster came out.
Yes.
For the Switch. That's sitting at a 78 on Metacritic. I don't think it's out yet, or it's either not out yet or it just came out, because there's no user reviews as of yet. But I played the original, so I'm not going to play the remaster, but
yeah,
it was fantastic for sure. And then maybe one of the bigger surprises was Dynasty Warriors Origins, sitting at an 80 on Metacritic, doing very well. Saying it's a great entry point for newcomers to the series.
Like 10 games in.
Yeah.
And that's not counting all the spin-offs.
Yeah, there's a lot of those games.
Yeah.
A lot of those games. All right, that has been your Metacritic check-in. And this is going to be really late because we are in the middle of the month at this point. But we need to take a look at all the releases in January because we would have done that on the first episode like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But we couldn't, so I'm pulling that list up now because I completely forgot about that. There we go. Okay. So a lot of these games are already out, starting with Wuthering Waves. Is that even how you say it? It's that new game from, the Gacha Games people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. A new Yeast game came out. Yeast Memoir, The Oath in Falgana. Don't know about that one. Freedom Wars Remastered, as we talked about. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which we talked about. Dynasty Warriors Origins, which we talked about. Tales of Grace's F Remastered. I'm not a Tales fan, so I couldn't tell you what that one is.
I haven't played a Tales game in a long time.
Yeah. Final Fantasy Rebirth comes out on PCs on the 23rd. So that's coming up soon.
Yeah, I should probably buy that because it's discounted.
Oh, for a pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing will definitely not run on my PC.
Yeah,
it barely runs on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's down to like $66 right now, and it's going to be regularly priced at about $90.
Of course it is.
So
Jesus, Canada.
And I do plan on playing it. So
Raven's Watch is coming to the Switch on the 23rd. That is a really cool looking, like an action roguelike, almost a Hades-like that I've been following. So I definitely want to check that out. Eternal Strands from Yellow Brick Games comes out on the 28th to Windows, PS5, and Xbox Series. That's that sort of weird mix between Shadow of the Colossus and like Zelda. Looks really cool though. Orcs Must Die 4, which is called Orcs Must Die Death Trap, comes out on the 28th as well. I'm a huge Orcs Must Die fan, so I cannot wait for that game. Sniper Elite Resistance comes out on the 30th. I'm guessing that's Sniper Elite 6.
Oh, it couldn't be 6. That's way too soon. It's probably one of the spin-offs. Because they had remember they have those zombie spin-offs?
Undead Army or something like that.
It's probably some kind of spin-off based on the Sniper Elite 5 engine. That'd be my guess.
Spider-Man 2 comes to PC, also on the 30th. And Citizen Sleeper 2 comes out on the 31st to Windows, Mac, Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series. If you're into that type of game. I played the first one, and I just wasn't in the mood for that type of game, but I could tell that it was good. Very, very text-based, so you have to kind of be in the mood for that kind of a game.
Yeah.
That's it. So let's get into the news. Let's start with your stuff. Let's get yours out of the way so you can rest your voice for the rest of the news.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I have two things, and this is going to go real quick because I haven't actually engaged with them that much because I've been sick. There's a video on YouTube. Let me see what the title is. 100 Slaps. So it's basically, I guess it's like this expose about some like satellite studio in Indonesia and just like mistreatment of employees and shit. So I would have sat down and watched it had I not been horrifically ill. I wish I had more to say about it, but I was in kind of a state. But I wanted to bring attention to it. And then there's also this Palestinian developed game called Dreams on a Pillow that's
cool name.
Past its crowdfunding goal. and this is coming from Polygon. It's described as a pseudo 3D stealth adventure about a land full of people being made into a people without land. So it's it's about that whole conflict.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting. And those are my contributions to the news.
Fair enough. All right, we have a lot of news to get through here, so I'm going to kick things off. This one's kind of evolved since this was posted. Again, all of these are from IGN. Credit to IGN. Half-Life 3 rumors ramp up after the voice actor for G-Man issues a cryptic tweet, his first in years. So he tweeted a video which had some like strange art, but it was like super zoomed in and just kind of like scrolling around it, and he was talking over it. And in the video, he said, "Oh, should I do a G-Man impersonation?" I would be. I can't. I'm gonna suck at this. Okay, I'm gonna try.
Go for it.
Another year. No, I can't do it. Another year already. I can't do it. Another year already.
Already, Dr. Freeman.
His voice is so unique.
Yeah,
it's so unique. It's so good.
It's the same guy who plays Barney, by the way.
Yeah, which is funny.
Guard. Yeah,
super different. Yeah, so he says another year already.
That beer I owed you, Dr. Freeman.
I want to replay Half-Life.
God,
I want to play that remake, actually. The remake.
Black Mesa? Cool.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah. I wonder if it would run on mine.
It's not 1-to-1. They've added a bunch of stuff. They've also taken some stuff out. But the stuff they've taken out, I don't miss too much. You remember On a Rail? The chapter where you're going through the underground monorail and you have to like hit the things to line up the tracks. They drastically shortened that, which is like,
that's fine. That wasn't. Yeah.
It still has that death elevator where you're going up the elevator and getting shot from all sides by like turrets and shit, which I was like, yeah. But other than that, I think it's an excellent remake. I think they did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool that they were allowed to do that.
Yeah, they got permission from Valve to do that and to sell
very
it.
Cool.
Valve is very cool about that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And they're certainly not doing it, so.
Yeah.
So he says, another year already. Good to see and hear from so many of you. Typo here. May the next quarter century deliver as many unexpected surprises as did the millennium's first. Then again, time is fluid like music. See you in the new year. Eventually, something came of this where he posted like some artwork. And there was like a whole deep dive that people went into about, various dates that it's referencing and songs that it's referencing and whole bunch of craziness. Nothing has materialized from it, obviously.
Yeah.
As I'm sure everyone would have heard of this by now.
If somebody said, "Oh yeah, Half-Life 3 is coming this year," then the entire world would have shit its collective pants.
Yeah, I do think there is something coming. I don't know whether it's Half-Life 3. If anything, it might be like Half-Life Alyx 2.
Yeah, maybe another VR thing.
Yeah, but
I mean that might be the thing to do because Valve has said that the reason that they've not made Half-Life 3 is because they want to one-up themselves, and they haven't figured out a way to do that. Well, maybe
VR's the natural.
Maybe VR's extension. The way to do it, guys.
Well, they did it already.
Yeah, you did Half-Life Alyx, so maybe now you do a full. I mean, would they be limiting their potential player base? Absolutely.
They already did with Alyx, yeah.
But if taking it to another level is what you want to do, maybe you gotta, take that plunge. And it's not like they can't fucking afford it.
No. So I would say we're guaranteed something Half-Life related, even if it's an announcement and not a game.
Yeah.
In 2025. When? No idea.
Yeah.
It when's a good time to announce a Half-Life game? Like, who knows? But very cool. I still haven't played Alex because can't. But
maybe we'll get a playable version of that super early Half-Life 2 look that they showed off, because like when the Half-Life 1 anniversary
like the
happened.
episode 3.
Well, when the Half-Life 1 anniversary happened, they put out Half-Life Uplink, which was the demo for Half-Life that was stuff that wasn't in the final game. There's a very early demo of Half-Life 2 that was shown off at, I think it was SIGGRAPH, like that 3D graphics convention. I think it was SIGGRAPH. Maybe it was CES.
I watched that video 1,000 times.
Yeah, where it's, it's like
they're demoing all the graphics and stuff.
Well,
all the physics.
No, it's even before that. It's even before that. I know that one. That one I've watched a lot. No, it's the one where the guy's like, free TV. I got a free TV from back when the game was much more darker and more oppressive than the final version ended up being, which is a weird thing to say because that game's pretty fucking oppressive.
Yeah.
But it was when they were showing off like the early version of the Source engine and just what it could do before they even had like a proper Half-Life 2.
Gotcha.
Maybe they'll release that as a playable demo.
Yeah, who knows? Something's definitely coming. He wouldn't just tweet for the first time and not have something behind him. Something's coming. This next one I'm going to skip over real quick because I don't have the follow-up that I need in order to really talk about it. But Atari teased a re-reveal of its handheld console at CES. But I never followed up on it to find out if they actually did anything at CES.
Yeah.
But the idea was that it was it's called the Game Station Go, and it's a portable video game player, a la Steam Deck. But the interesting concept behind it, besides it being, a retro console on Atari, it was that it has the trackball and paddle built into it, in addition to buttons and the keys, the number pad, all that kind of stuff. So it was like it was
fully functional Atari.
Yeah, it had everything there that you would need to play all Atari games.
I'm not sure there are that many Atari games that I'd want to replay.
Not only that, but like, who's this for? We're getting to the point where Atari is Atari. People that grew up with Atari they're not like ancient people or anything like that, but they're in their like 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
70s maybe. Like, it's do they care? I don't think they care.
I mean, there are some good Atari 2600 games, but the reality is a lot of the good games on that system are ports of arcade games that are better in the arcade that we can emulate just as easily now.
Exactly.
So
I don't think
when it comes to original Atari 2600 games, like the number of like really good ones you can count on like one hand.
Yeah.
There's Kaboom, which is fine. God, I'm struggling to think of something else. Fuck, I don't know.
I'm not an Atari guy, so
yeah,
couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Like I said, I was a Commodore guy around that era. All right, this one was kind of weird. Nintendo Switch players reporting their new games have been replaced with googly eyes. The article reads, typically over the holidays, thousands of people will look in their stockings or under the tree to find brand new Nintendo games waiting for them. But this year, a number of Nintendo Switch fans are claiming they unwrapped a far less pleasant surprise on Christmas morning. Instead of a Switch cartridge in their game box, they are claiming they found a single googly eye staring back at them. And there's pictures from hundreds of Reddit posts of a googly eye in their cart that they opened on Christmas morning. The article continues. Over the holidays, a number of posts popped up across Reddit and Twitter from individuals claiming they are seemingly sealed brand new Switch cases contained a googly eye and a black piece of plastic instead of the actual game cartridge. Why a googly eye? The running theory is that the googly eye will rattle if you shake the Switch box, similar to how the box rattles with the actual game inside it, making you think that the card's actually in there. And the black plastic around the side fools individuals trying to look through the cracks on top or bottom to see if the outline of the game is visible without unwrapping it. Without those items, someone might be tipped off that the game has been stolen from the package, but this method ensures that no one notices until it's opened. It's unclear at the moment how or why this is happening, or on what scale. Games reportedly impacted included Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Mario Party Jamboree, which is brand new, Echoes of Wisdom, which is brand new, and others. The report also seems to go back several months, though there's been a higher influx of them recently, likely due to more games being purchased over the holiday. And all of them seem to include a googly eye and the same black piece of plastic, though at least one person is claiming to only have gotten the plastic with no eye included.
Oh, they didn't even get the googly eye.
Didn't even get the googly eye. I'm seeing pictures of this, and it's elaborate, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot of trouble to go to, but I mean,
I don't know how anyone this must have happened in the factory. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe not the manufacturing plant, but maybe like the wherever they package it. Like, I don't know. There was no follow up on this, I don't think. They reached out to IGN, reached out to Walmart, and corporate PR did get back to him, but they seemed baffled about the story. It says, they told me over the phone that the company had not heard of anything about this, and we spent the better part of the afternoon going back and forth over emails trying to investigate. The representative said they'd look into some specific stores where googly eyes had been first reported over the weekend and return, but IGN never received a further response.
No.
So I guess I'm assuming that means they didn't find anything. They couldn't figure out, where it came from. So
yeah, it's very strange.
Which doesn't surprise me because it like we just said, this clearly happened at either a manufacturing plant or a packaging plant.
Yeah,
this was not done at the stores.
Yeah,
pretty crazy though. It was never followed up on though, so I don't know what the scale was, but a few hundred at least apparently.
Yeah,
crazy. I would have been pissed opening that up on Christmas. All right. And also, how do you prove that to the store?
That's the other thing.
You take it back and you're like, yeah, the game had a googly eye in it. Were they going to buy that?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Sony announces 3 video game adaptations. The first is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Unsurprising.
The film is confirmed to be a collaboration between PlayStation Studios and Columbia Pictures. Columbia was the one who produced the Uncharted movie, which is not a great sign.
Yeah,
because I did watch that, and it was about as fine as it could have been. It wasn't bad or terrible, but it definitely wasn't great.
Yeah.
The report says that they are at the early stages of developing the film, so it's a while away.
I mean, they've been talking about doing that for a while, haven't they?
Yeah. So it sounds like it probably hit some snags along the way. Oh wait, no, I think it was a Horizon TV show.
Oh, maybe
they got canceled on Netflix, so maybe they pivoted and were like, let's make a movie instead.
Yeah. Okay.
They also announced a Ghost of Tsushima anime coming to Crunchyroll in 2027.
Okay.
That'll probably be pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, that's very cool. And then the last one, surprisingly, is Helldivers 2.
Yeah, that's I heard about that. That's very strange.
Considering the game's a ripoff of a movie.
Yeah,
and now you're making a movie of the ripoff.
It's Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
You're just making your unofficial Starship Troopers game, which is fine. It's not like there's been a Starship Troopers game anytime recently, but now you're turning it into a movie after you just put it in secret level.
I haven't seen Secret Level yet. I planned on.
I haven't. I've seen some clips on YouTube, and it looks terrible.
Oh, really? The Helldivers one specifically, or all of them?
Just all of them. They're just very not
very corporate.
Yeah. Very, hey, let's make this about the games that the kids like. That'll make us money. It's like, no, it actually needs to be good. We seem to have been frozen again, so I'll just keep talking. I did watch a bit of footage of one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think it's based on New World, which is that Amazon MMO. So, obviously they were pushing for that. I don't really care one way or the other. I didn't really understand it. It probably because I've never played the game. Okay, we're back.
I heard you the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. But I don't care. The footage that I saw, it looked. I mean, animation wise, it looked fine. Yeah. But in terms of is this a show I'd actually want to watch? No, not really.
I mean, it's just a bunch of short films, basically. Yeah. So
yeah. It looks about as appealing as Ready Player One, which is to say 0.
I liked that movie for what it was. I don't think it was I don't even know. I can't say it was as good as the book. I never read the book, but I've heard the book was way better.
So from what I haven't read the book. I've read some excerpts from the book. It's fucking bad. It's fucking bad. There's a lot of just hey, I know about this thing, and I know about this thing, and I know about this thing, and this thing, and this thing. Do you know about these things? Then you'll like this book that's about a person who likes these things. References to video games and anime and movies. Gotcha. Instead of having any actual substance.
No, that's what people gobble up these days, is things without substance, right? Let's see. So yeah, the Helldivers 2 movie is in collaboration between Sony Productions and Sony Pictures. That's all that we've been told. So we'll see how that turns out. Yeah. If it ever sees the light of day. Next up, PUBG and Inzoi are getting AI companions called co-playable characters, or CPCs, that you can actually speak to in-game. So this was inevitable that they were going to make NPCs talk and interact with gamers with AI. I mean, this was inevitable. I watched the video on it, and it seemed okay. You can definitely tell it's AI.
Yeah, it's also going to be in a very controlled environment where they're only going to select for the best footage.
That's true. That's definitely true. But it's specifically for PUBG and Inzoi, so they're using those as basically test beds for it. I like the idea of this for games once it's perfected. Because there's so many games that I wish I could play co-op with people that just don't have the time to do it, and the ability to schedule things together. I would love to play Sea of Thieves. Yeah. But holy crap! It's a deep game, and you scheduling stuff is so hard as an adult. I'd love to play GTFO. Another game I would love to play. There's so many games that are co-op only these days, but it's that one. It's like a ghost game.
Oh, Phasmophobia.
Yeah, I'd love to play that, but playing it alone is basically impossible. So it's they need bot support with AI that can communicate. So I think it's inevitable that we're going to get stuff that is good, and this is just the first step towards that. I have no problem with this stuff personally. I think there's a good thing and good things and bad things to use AI on.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good one. I don't have any problem with it. It's inevitable that it's coming, so we all need to just accept it. We just need to accept it when it's good and reject it when it's bad. I think that's the best, best thing we can do as consumers. This was big news. The Ubisoft train continues to derail. Assassin's Creed Shadows. It was delayed again.
Yep.
From February 14th to March 20th.
The least surprising news of the year, and we're only in January.
It's a little weird though. Like, what the hell are you gonna do in 4 or 5 weeks?
Fucking if I know.
Yeah, like, that's really gonna make a big difference. If that's gonna make a really big difference, like, what's the difference? Is it just more bug squashing? Like,
Maybe.
I don't know. But that's not the only Ubisoft news we got.
Uh-oh.
So Ubisoft, after just delaying Assassin's Creed Shadows by another month amid a time of troubled financials, continued cost cutting, and ongoing rumors the company was preparing for a sale to Tencent. In an emergency conference on January 9th, investors grilled CEO Yves Guillemot. I guess I say his name.
I believe it's pronounced Jomo, but I'm not an expert.
Yves Guillemot and CFO Frederick Dugo. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. For answers on all of the above, but their responses didn't provide a whole lot of reassurance.
Oh, what a shock. What a fucking surprise.
Ubisoft's call came alongside not just the delay announcement, but a seeming confirmation of sorts that Ubisoft is preparing to sell, or at least strongly considering it. Per the press release, the company has, quote, appointed leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. In other words, we're looking to sell. This process will be overseen by the independent members of the board of directors. Ubisoft will inform the market in accordance with applicable regulations if and once a transaction materializes.
Oh.
So, in other words,
that is some grade A corporate speak right there. That is,
isn't it?
Savor that. Roll that around in your mouth for a bit. Oh, it's like a fine wine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty awful, isn't it? Back in October, Bloomberg reported that Ubisoft's founding Guillemot family, or Guillemot, however you say it, and shareholder Tencent were in discussions to take the company private following a number of high-profile flops, game cancellations, and the collapse of the company's share price. At that time, the talks were merely exploratory, and Ubisoft told IGN it would inform the market if and when appropriate. Today's update seems to suggest that such talks, either with Tencent or in some other capacity, have moved forward in some way. But it's unclear exactly how, and Ubisoft shareholders understandably wanted more details during the conference.
Yeah, I bet they did.
But Guillemot and Duga weren't biting. First, they were asked directly by a Morgan Stanley representative, quote, on the various transformation, strategic, and capitalistic options, it's a bit of a vague phrase, if you don't mind me saying. Could you perhaps elaborate on the kind of things you're talking about? And perhaps particularly, there were press reports of detailed discussions with Tencent that were reported on in December. Should we read that there is now some sort of proposal which the independent board members are going to review against other options? Or is that not what you meant by that? The reply they got was as follows, quote, get ready for more corporate speak.
Oh, let's do it, baby.
The objective of this process is to unlock the best value potential of our assets to the benefit of our stakeholders and to foster the best conditions to create great games in a fast-evolving market. That's the overall objective, so that's why we mentioned that we appointed leading advisors. So we're currently actively exploring different options, and we can't say more. Of course, we won't comment on specific rumors we have seen in the market, but we are convinced there are several potential paths to generate value from Ubisoft assets and franchises. We will inform the market if and when the transaction materializes.
So there's two parts there that I really like. First of all, the use of unlocking value.
Yeah, since you guys can't unlock it, gotta look elsewhere.
Oh man! And then the talk of Ubisoft assets. Oh, that sounds like they're selling IPs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or they're going to start hiring, like not selling off the IP, but potentially giving their IP to other developers.
Yeah, farming them out and just
to make some
royalties.
Money.
Yeah.
Yep. The article continues that doesn't really clarify anything.
No, it doesn't.
And the Morgan Stanley guy,
at the same time, it clarifies a lot.
It
clarifies. They have no idea what the fuck to do.
No, they're screwed.
They are panicking about how they retain the value of this company that I will say has some tremendous games,
great IP
under its
in
belt.
There. Yeah,
and it's really sad
just foundering it. Yeah.
To see that this company that was once quite
huge,
reliable at producing really good games has collapsed under the presumption that, you know, NFT games and microtransactions are the way forward,
and
and
60 sequels a year,
yeah, and just
and mobile
pumping the
games,
market full
and
of
limited free-to-play games,
yeah,
that fail.
yeah. Ubisoft's strengths were always in, hey, let's put out a really solid game in a franchise every 2 to 3 years. Like,
Yep.
remember the first 3 Splinter Cell games?
Ooh.
Holy fuck, those were good.
Pandora
And
Tomorrow,
yeah,
Chaos
they were
Theory.
putting those out like once every 2 years. And it was
Yep.
great because it kept them in people's minds, but it didn't oversaturate the market. People were hungry for them.
Yep. Rainbow Six was kind of scattered around too.
Yeah.
Yep. Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
Now they can't get any games out. Yeah. And when they do, they fail.
Yep.
The article continues, and the Morgan Stanley guys seem to feel the same, but he followed up by acknowledging Ubisoft didn't want to say what the different options were, but asked if they could say, quote, whether there are any concrete courses of action or scenarios that are being considered, or is this more of an exploratory kind of process? Elaborating that he wanted to know what was different about this announcement as opposed to past statements by Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Duguette's response was short. Quote, we are limited with what we can say today, but we've started a process.
Oh, Jesus.
Then, seemingly realizing this could be interpreted as a too specific confirmation, added, quote, with advisors. End quote. Oh. It continues on from there and just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
But to say that Ubisoft's in trouble, I think, is an understatement at this point. They're in the danger zone.
They are trying to tread water, and they just can't grab onto anything, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we are guaranteed a major Ubisoft shift in 2025, whatever that ends up being, whether that ends up being a sale to Tencent, which would basically, to me, spell the end for Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I hate to say it, and a lot of people will hate this, but an Xbox purchase or a PlayStation purchase would be the most beneficial for the IP that they have.
I disagree with that.
Who else is going to take it?
Well,
Nobody.
think no. You don't have to just put all your eggs in one basket. I think you could sell them off to different people. What my concern is all of their fucking studios, because they've got
14,000 people.
Yeah, they got like 24 studios across the world. They employ so many people and talented people. Like, the problem with Ubisoft is not and has never been the people working on the games. It's the people making
the leadership,
the corporate decisions. And like, they have so many fucking talented people who are doing their damnedest to make good games in spite of corporates' attempts to seemingly self-sabotage everything. Yep. It really stings, and like I don't see any way out of this that doesn't involve a lot of people losing their jobs, people who absolutely do not deserve to lose their jobs.
No, there's going to be a major downsizing of Ubisoft. No doubt about it.
The thought that we could be facing thousands of people losing their jobs in the near future,
absolutely,
is just incredibly depressing.
Yep, that's a huge swath of the market that is suddenly flooded with available talent. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Next up, I don't know how you pronounce this guy's name. MP1ST. Empist?
I have no idea.
We'll say Empist. Empist reported that details for the unannounced game Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remake were accidentally released by a former employee at video game support studio Virtuous. According to him, Virtuous has remade Bethesda's much-loved open-world role-playing game using Unreal Engine 5, which suggests a significant rework rather than a more straightforward remaster.
Mm-hmm.
Gameplay changes were also allegedly detailed, including tweaks to stamina, sneak blocking, archery, hit reaction, and the HUD. As reported by Empist, blocking was changed with action games and Souls-likes in mind because the original system was too boring and frustrating. Sneak icons are now allegedly highlighted with damage calculation revamped. The knockdown that comes with stamina being depleted is reportedly harder to trigger, and the HUD was redesigned to make it easier to understand.
Yeah, the HUD in
Elsewhere,
Oblivion was really, really over designed. Like they went all out, like making it look like parchment and calligraphy. And I appreciate the effort, but it was a HUD should be there to convey information first and be stylish second.
yeah, I agree.
You can do both, but it
Yeah,
is
Persona 5 did
absolutely
it.
yeah. But it is possible to go way too far overboard, and Oblivion does so. I actually really like the much more muted UI in Skyrim. I think that I think that's a lot easier to
I
understand.
like the I like the visual UI of Skyrim, but its inventory system is terrible.
Well, yeah, scrolling down just one list.
Categorically terrible.
Yeah, they should have done it like in Morrowind, where it's a grid.
Yeah, yeah, I agreed. Um, Elsewhere, hit reactions were added to make response clearer, and archery was reportedly modernized in both first and third person perspectives. Um,
So is this a complete project, or is this just a vertical slice, or does it not say?
no, it's apparently a full remake, like a full release scheduled for 2025.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Um, yeah, no other real details, but this was reported in 2023, if I remember correctly. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Word of an Oblivion remaster emerged in 2023 when documents published as part of the FTC versus Microsoft trial over the buyout of Activision revealed a number of unannounced Bethesda games set for release in the years ahead,
Right.
which included a Oblivion remaster, the Indiana Jones game, which did end up coming out, Doom Year Zero, and DLC. Doom Year Zero was eventually renamed to The Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Something called Project Kestrel, Project Platinum, Elder Scrolls 6, which we know,
Yeah.
a new licensed IP game, a Fallout 3 remaster, which never saw the light of day to my knowledge.
Yeah.
A Ghostwire Tokyo sequel, which definitely didn't happen because that studio went belly up, but then they were like sold to Krafton. Dishonored 3, which hasn't come out either.
Yeah.
So, but the Oblivion remaster was scheduled for 2022. So if this kind of like makes sense, because if it was shifted to Unreal Engine 5,
Yeah.
then they were like, okay, we're increasing the scope of this. You know, whatever they were doing with the remaster wasn't doing it well enough, so they were like, well, we either don't do this or we make it a remake.
Yeah.
So I believe it. I think we're gonna get it, and I think it's probably going to be one of those not a shadow drop, but we'll probably hear about it at the Summer of Gaming E3 timeframe, and they'll be like, oh, and it's out next month, you know, something like that.
That's probably the way to do it. And
just like they did with Fallout 4.
I'll be honest, I could do with a better version of Oblivion.
Yeah, I never played it, so I could try it out.
It's not a bad game, but it I
mean, I've been told it's amazing at the time.
Well, here's the problem. The game has a real issue with enemy scaling, where do you remember how in Morrowind, as you got stronger, as you went up in levels, you started to see newer, more powerful enemies mixed in with the older ones? Yeah, that doesn't happen in Oblivion. Everybody just gets uniformly stronger, and you'll be facing like standard enemies that are wearing full suits of glass armor. You know, like some of the rarest armor in the game.
That's fine.
And it's yeah, it kind of feels weird.
Yeah, no, it feels video gamey instead of world building.
And there are mods to adjust that, but they're all like that's such a core part of the game that it's a very difficult thing to correct with mods. Like it would have to be a multi-year effort to rebalance that kind of thing. And the game has been out long enough that I'm sure there are mods that do it, but like I I would just rather have it be fixed, like in the game itself. So if that's a thing they're doing, I'm not against it.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Next up, we're almost through. We're almost done. Microsoft has announced a developer direct showcase set for Thursday, January 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern. So you will, quote, get an inside look at a selection of highly anticipated games coming to Xbox Series, PC, and Game Pass players this year. So this is a developer direct focused on 2025 games only. Games that will be at the show include South of Midnight, which I've been following and looks really sick. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, that's that sick-looking RPG from the French developers. And Doom the Dark Ages.
Okay.
Will be there as well. And also a Mystery Studios brand new game will also be there.
Okay.
So we don't know what that is. Could be...
That Doom release has got to be this year, because the last one came out in 2020.
All three of those are 2025.
Yeah.
I wonder if the mystery game is the Oblivion remake.
Maybe. It would make sense if they're trying to get it out in time for this year.
Oh yeah. It says here what is the brand new game? There's a lot of speculation right now that might be the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remaster.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Kind of weird that they've left those first two games kind of untouched. If there's any game that needs improvement, it's those first two.
I think they'll probably eventually do a 1 and 2 remaster, but
maybe
they're also pretty archaic in comparison
and
to
the scope
games.
and scale of them is very different. Like the first one,
I can see them doing a package deal where you get 1 and 2 in one thing.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
I mean, they're out there for free. Like Bethesda has released those as freeware.
Yeah, they could do a remaster though. Didn't they do that with Fallout 1 and 2?
No,
they didn't.
No.
Oh, I could have sworn they did like a package deal for 1 and 2.
I mean, you can probably get them as part of the package deal. There might have been like a physical box, but like as for like redoing the graphics and everything, no, they haven't done that. Also, Morrowind, man, I would love Morrowind without dice roll combat.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. That's like the one problem with that game is that you can swing your sword and it'll go through somebody and not hit them because it's still based on dice rolls. And once you get to about level 10, that stops being an issue. But it's like, come on, this is a real-time game. This isn't turn-based. Just whack people with the sword.
Whoosh. Remember Gauntlet?
Yeah. On the N64?
Yeah, Dark Legends or something like that.
Oh, God, yeah.
God,
that was good. I didn't like the original Gauntlet that much. It's kind of slow, but yeah, the one
there was a Gauntlet game on PlayStation 4. I want to say.
Yeah. I never. It
wasn't
that.
It wasn't great. It was fine, but all right, let's move on. We got still a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Just one more real news piece, and then a couple of small ones. So PlayStation has canceled 2 unannounced live service games. They're learning. It did. Hallelujah. They canceled a live service game in the works at Bend Studio, who is the Days Gone team, and one at Bluepoint Games, which is the remake studio.
Yeah, the remake guys.
But they were apparently working on a God of War live service game, which... What?
You know what that is? That's a boardroom decision right there. That's somebody on the board at PlayStation who's never touched a fucking game in their life saying, let's see our IP here. This did well, right? Make a live service game based on that. Because I'm just happy they're learning. Yeah, there's no way. There's absolutely no universe in which a creative person looks at God of War and says, how can we turn that into Destiny?
Well, I think we talked about it before. There was a guy, was it Andrew Ryan, that retired recently? Who's the PlayStation guy who retired recently?
I think you mean Andrew House.
Okay, that's not who it was. Jim Ryan. That's what I was thinking.
Because
I think he was responsible for that whole live service push.
Because Andrew Ryan is the guy from BioShock.
Oh, okay, yeah. Different guy. What's the saying from that game?
Oh, no gods, no kings, only men.
No.
What does a man chooses, a slave obeys.
No. What does he say to him all the time?
Oh,
would you kindly?
Would you kindly? Yeah.
Would you kindly? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the activation phrase.
Would you kindly cancel all your live service games?
Yes.
Yes, we will, says Sony. Except for they're still working on Marathon and
well, that makes sense. They bought fucking Bungie.
Yeah, and Fair Games. That's it. That's all they have in live service that we know of.
Yeah.
Everything else has been shifted back to AAA.
Yeah.
Single player experiences. Thank fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Thank fuck.
I'd really hate to see them fuck up God of War after they found the stride with the soft reboot series.
Dude, I can't wait to see what Santa Monica does next. Because my gut tells me God of War's done for now, and they're going to move on to something new finally. And I can't wait to see what they can do.
You don't think they're doing a third one in the?
Nah, they tied up. I mean, you haven't played them, have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they tied a bow on it pretty nicely at the end of.
Oh, okay.
Ragnarok.
I figured they'd do like a third one where he kills the entire Norse pantheon or something.
Yeah. The story's not that violent this time.
Okay,
it's definitely violent.
Yeah, but he's like chill now.
Yeah, his goal is not to just kill.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Millions and millions of people.
Yeah. You got to play those games. They're really good. But yeah, I can't wait to see what they do. I really think they'll do something else. It's time for them to give them something. Give them some creative liberties.
Yeah.
Especially Cory Barlog.
Yeah.
He's the one that did the reboot of God of War. So, and he didn't work on Ragnarok.
Oh.
Which shocked the shit out of me. I was like, so maybe. What's he been doing?
Yeah, maybe he's working on something else.
He's doing something. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. We'll talk about that later though. Last three pieces here are updates to PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass. So PlayStation Plus monthly games for January are interesting. So these are the 3 free games you get no matter what part of PlayStation Plus you are a part of. The Stanley Parable, hilarious game.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that?
No, but I've seen some videos of it, and I was like,
it's not a great game.
Yeah, but it's more of a storytelling experience.
It's an experience.
Yeah,
it's funny. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. Sure, why not?
Sure.
Yeah, not a great pick, but it's a good game. And Suicide Squad.
Oh.
Kill the Justice League, which now has an offline mode, and is. And support for it is finally finished.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try it since it's free now.
Yeah.
I played the trial and I was like, nah. But now that they've done all the updates and they've put offline mode and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. It's free. For the January 2025 PlayStation Plus game catalog, so this is for the upper 2 tiers of the PlayStation Plus subscription service, where you get access to the catalogs. You get the following games. Speaking of, God of War Ragnarok being added to the game catalog, which is always great to see when they put first-party games there.
Yep.
Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name. God, those names are so bad. That's not quite as bad as the pirate dude in Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii. No, that name's great. I love it.
It's so funny. Both of those are PS4 and PS5. Atlas Fallen, Reign of Sand to PS5. I really want to try that. Me and my buddy are going to probably try that out in co-op. It's apparently a great co-op third-person action game. SD Gundam Battle Alliance for PS4 and PS5.
Gundam game.
Yeah. Sayonara Wild Hearts for PS4. I've heard a lot about that game, but I've never played it, so I'll probably check that one out. No idea what it's about. No clue. Anno Mutation. It's an Anno game.
Yeah.
PS4 and PS5. Orcs Must Die 3, PS4 and PS5. I already have it, but great game. Citizen Sleeper, we talked about that earlier during the Metacritic check-in, or the games of January. PS4 and PS5. Poker Club for PS4, and then some classics here: Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings, and Medieval 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the PS1, PS2 classics.
They,
I think
they did a remake of Medieval, right?
Yes.
Are they not doing one for Medieval 2? Was that just a one and done thing?
Yeah,
Maybe
I think that was
didn't do so well.
It wouldn't surprise me if it didn't do well.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure why they chose that game to remake.
And I'm sure there were a lot of people clamoring for a Medieval remake.
Yeah, like of all the games that are like niche, I would not have picked that particular one. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, there was another news article, but I can't remember where it was from, and I forgot to grab the link for it. But there's some sort of insider information that is suggesting that Sony is diving deep into its old IP chest and is bringing some classics back in some sort of way.
What would they have to bring back?
Man, they have a chest of crazy old IP that they haven't touched in forever, like Colony Wars, Ape Escape.
Oh, yeah, Colony Wars.
Like, let's see. PlayStation IP. Let me look up a quick. Here we go. Yeah, Ape Escape, Ark the Lad.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't touched Gravity Rush in a while.
Yeah.
Infamous. I haven't touched Infamous in a while. Jack and Daxter. Lemmings. Apparently they own Lemmings.
Oh, they own Lemmings now? Okay.
Well, they have. Is this owned, or is this?
Did they buy Psygnosis? Because that would explain. Because Psygnosis published Lemmings and Colony Wars. So if they bought Psygnosis, that would explain how they got those IP.
It looks like they did.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's a whole bunch of stuff here about them sending like a cease and desist letter to someone over Lemmings. So it seems like they do own it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a franchise that I'm surprised hasn't come back, because
especially on mobile.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I thought for sure that somebody would do a Lemmings mobile game, and it wouldn't necessarily be like a classic Lemmings style game, but something Lemmings branded, like a Lemmings, like a physics game. You know how there's like Angry Birds and stuff.
Yeah,
like figure out how to do a Lemmings take on that.
Heck yeah,
And it's flummoxed me that they've never brought that back, because it seems like the kind of thing. I mean, let me put it to you like this. If Minions can make billions of dollars, surely Lemmings can.
Yeah. I'm surprised they just didn't make a Lemmings game that was branded Minions.
Yeah.
They've also got Motorstorm.
Oh yeah.
Resistance.
Yeah.
Sly Cooper. Their biggest one though, SOCOM.
Oh my God, SOCOM, yeah. That used to be the shit back in the day. That game was really popular.
Yeah, that online play.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was
voice chat for the first time.
It was one of the first PS2 games, like one of the first big PS2 games with online play.
Yeah, required the modem attachment.
Yeah.
Siphon Filter.
That was popular during the PS1 days.
Yeah. Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah, they own that.
Wipeout.
Yeah, wasn't there a... No, there was... I was going to say, wasn't there a Wipeout game on the launch of the Switch, but it wasn't. It was something else, but it was clearly Wipeout inspired.
It was a Wipeout ripoff, yeah.
Yeah.
It was good, though. I played it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it getting pretty good reviews.
Yeah, no, the Wipeout series died when Sony Liverpool was closed.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Hasn't been back since. Let's see. It looks like they also have potentially cool borders.
That would be a good thing to bring back multi-platform, because I mean they already did Wipeout multi-platform. Like I guess before they acquired, because there was a Wipeout on the N64. Remember?
Oh yeah, Wipeout 64.
Yeah. So before they acquired that studio,
I
That's a
think that
thing they could bring back and do multi-platform. I think it'd do fine.
yeah. And we're gonna get
People
into their studios in our topic of the week.
people like a good, simple, futuristic racing game.
I like arcade racers in general
Yeah,
of any kind. So
yeah.
yeah,
Bring it back, man.
bring it back. Okay. So the yeah. Oh, sorry. I went over the PlayStation Plus catalog. Game Pass update for January 2025. Wave one. Not great. Uh, we only have one game.
Oh, hope it's
There's
a
a
good one.
bunch. Actually, sorry. There's two. I guess there's
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are moving. To like from Game Pass Ultimate into Standard, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to go over those anymore. I'm tired of retreading that shit.
Yeah.
But EA Sports UFC 5 is coming.
Oh, okay.
That's out now, and the original Diablo is coming to PC Game Pass.
Oh, does it include Hellfire?
Yes, it
Oh,
does.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't done a graphical update to that, because that could really use it.
Yeah, I don't know why they did Diablo 2. I don't know why they haven't done the first one. Maybe they will. I mean,
Maybe it's because do you know that there's a yearly event in Diablo 3 that retreads Diablo 1?
Yes, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, I don't know why they just didn't make that like a permanent thing.
Yeah, that
so
should
cool.
be a permanent thing. That's cool.
Just a level.
You know what'll probably happen is once they finally stop doing seasons for Diablo 3. I mean, they've stopped doing new seasons. They're just like repeating existing ones. But once they finally stop doing that, I'm sure they'll just unlock it and they'll let you play any season or any special event whenever.
Yeah, they're on season 34.
Yeah.
Diablo. That's so crazy.
Yeah, but it's not a new season. It's like a repeat of, because they did, I think they did like 20 seasons of original content, and then ever since then it's just been an encore
Retreads.
of a previous season.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list now. It's too complicated though, so I'm not gonna go into it. And then leaving Game Pass is Commonhood. Terrible game. I tried it.
Yeah.
Escape Academy. Very cool. It's like an escape room type of game. Exoprimal. Remember that thing? It was like a dinosaur game with like mechs or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That was super weird. Figment. Very weird game. Insurgency Sandstorm. And Those Who Remain, which was a horror game.
Is Edith Finch among Those Who Remain?
It's a good game. Actually, it's not that great of a game. No, wait. Edith Finch. What remains of Edith Finch? Yeah, that was a good game.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
And are those who do not remain the ones who have gone to the rapture?
Now that game wasn't good because everybody's gone to the rapture. Yeah, that was a bad game.
Man, can you imagine the idea of, let's have a mystery where you figure out what's happened to everybody, and the game's fucking called Everyone's Gone to the Rapture? Guys,
you kind of let out the cat out of the bag early.
You gave it away. You can't call it. I mean, it's a good name. It's catchy, but you can't just give it away like that.
Nope. Doesn't work that way. All right. That is the news, which means it's time to move into topic of the week. And we got a doozy for you this week. So where is my topic of the week info? Right here. So what we're going to do... Wait, where's the... Oh, I have it here. Okay. So what we're going to do is look at the three big players in the console market: Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Kind of look at what their current state is, sort of their state in the industry, where we think they're headed, what we think their studios are doing, so on and so forth. And we're going to start off with the biggest news of the week, which we didn't get to. I saved it for the topic of the week, which is the Nintendo Switch 2 has been revealed.
Yeah, finally. And it is basically exactly what I think we all thought it was going to be.
Yes, the leaks were true, essentially.
Yep. Pretty much. I watched that video and I actually said out loud, "Thank you," when they showed the kickstand that wasn't a piece of shit.
So I have a list of all of the details that were revealed in the Switch 2 trailer. Some of them you'll probably know, and some of them maybe not. And we're gonna kind of go over them one by one here.
I've seen some people talking about like a mouse support mode. Oh my god,
they're back. The fraud department is back.
Oh my god, this looks like a legitimate call. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. No.
I will vamp. Maybe I should just sing. I don't know. I wonder where the cat is. Will the cat make an appearance? Dante?
Okay, no, that was definitely not a legitimate call. I answered and it started ringing a phone.
Oh, I hate that shit.
Yeah.
God, I hate that shit. So I've got all the details here about the Switch 2, so we're going to go over them one by one and kind of give our takes. So first detail, the Switch 2 is roughly 15% bigger than the Switch 1.
Yes.
Which, cool.
Yeah, the way I see it is that if it's not going to be pocketable, you might as well maximize the screen real estate.
It's a Steam Deck from Nintendo,
Basically.
It's got a new deep gray modern look with blue and red effects on the Joy-Cons. I think it looks pretty modern. Looks kind of cool. The Joy-Cons snap into place on each side, potentially with magnets.
Yeah, that I'm not as enthusiastic about. I kind of like the rails.
I think it's probably going to be much easier to use. My only concern is that poke out.
Yeah. I'm like,
ooh,
I'm looking at that
could
and
break.
I'm going, why is that? Why is that a thing?
Yeah, but I trust Nintendo. They've never released hardware that like breaks. Well, I guess that's not true. The Joy-Con drift.
Yeah, and the Virtual Boy. Well, the Virtual Boy is a technicality because the Virtual Boy doesn't break. It's the fucking stand.
Yeah. I'm hoping that there's no way to put the Joy-Cons in at an angle to where you're going to have a problem with pulling that in the wrong direction. And it seems like that's the way it's designed because of the magnet, so it's just going to snap into place perfectly every time.
Yeah, well, they're also we'll see. It's like a recessed area. It's sunken into the sides of the system quite a bit, so you'd probably have some difficulty putting it in there anyway other than correct.
Then perfectly, yeah. Oh, there's Dante. Let me grab him real quick.
Oh, boy. Here comes the every episode needs a cat cameo moment. Do you have thoughts on the Switch 2, Dante? No, of course not.
All right. Okay. The mysterious sideways trigger on the back of each Joy-Con is actually just to release it from the console. So you just squeeze it and it pops out from the side.
Interesting.
We thought that it was an extra button, but it is not. It is the release.
Yeah, okay.
Which makes sense because I was always looking at it, and I think I commented on it at some point with you, where I was like, why would it be sideways? That's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the point. You don't want to accidentally click it. So I like that idea. It's better than the button that they have on the Switch 1. I don't like that button.
That button is hard to reach, but it's a little too hard to reach.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like it's not super easy. I mean, it's first world problem for sure.
Yeah.
But,
it's a thing that could be improved.
Yeah,
is basically what it is.
There is a new unknown square button on the right Joy-Con that is unlabeled in the trailer that was rumored as being a new C button. But even the rumors don't really have any idea what it is actually for.
It could just be some kind of quick function, like how they have a dedicated screenshot button.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Nintendo is going to finally reverse their streaming stance.
Maybe
this thing streams. Maybe it's a stream.
Maybe it's a voice
button.
chat button. Maybe they'll reverse their stance on that, and it's a push to talk button.
A push to talk, yeah. Or just like a mute.
Yeah,
that's certainly possible.
Who the fuck knows?
The sticks have been improved and now have a thicker raised border on them. If you look at the regular Switch Joy-Con, it's got like a really thin outline. So your thumb kind of slips off pretty easily.
Yeah.
This one seems to have a much thicker raised border, so that's good. It doesn't appear to have an IR sensor on the top of the Joy-Con like Switch 1 did, but I don't think anyone really cares because it didn't. Switch 1 didn't even really use it except for that 1-2 Switch game. So.
There are a few games that use it, but it's not. They they might have found another way to do it. Who knows?
There is in the video a weird bevel on the bottom of the right Joy-Con, but it's hard to see in the video and they don't clearly show it.
Yeah.
So it might just be a visual thing and not anything, but it does kind of look like what the old IR sensor on the Switch 1 Joy-Con did. So it could be on the bottom, but I don't know. The Joy-Con's individual SL and SR buttons are much larger. So when you take the Joy-Con off and you turn it sideways...
Yeah, those things were always a pain to hit because they were
so small.
Flush.
Yeah, and now they're raised and much wider.
Yeah.
So that should make it more comfortable. The 4 LED lights on the Joy-Cons, which indicate which player the Joy-Con is attached to, is now facing forward when you're holding the thing instead of facing sideways.
Yeah, that was always a really dumb thing. I have third-party Joy-Cons on my Switch right now, and they have forward-facing LEDs, and it's like, guys, how did you fuck this up?
Yeah, it seems like a problem. There is an additional laser sensor on the inside of the Joy-Cons. This is what everyone is assuming is the mouse support.
I that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, what they use it for.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be useful in portable mode, but like when you hook it up to a dock on a TV, like you know how hard it is to use a mouse on like like your lap or like a So,
but I mean, who knows? Maybe they've got something in there that compensates for that. Something that makes it easier. Who knows?
Yeah.
There are definitely games where I wouldn't mind having a mouse pointer that's controlled by like a mouse.
A mouse.
Yeah. I wish that you could just plug in a mouse and keyboard and just have it work, but
it's possible that it would work great for like the Civ games, or RTS games if they want to start bringing those back to consoles. I don't buy into it yet. I can see a world where it could happen now that Nintendo's really shifting the way it's doing things.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some people suggesting that they could be implementing mouse support because their games will be coming to PC.
No.
Which I don't see.
No.
But this is a new Nintendo, and the biggest thing that I can tell you as to give credence to this Nintendo being so new and doing things that they've never done before is the name of the damn system itself.
Yeah.
They have never done a direct sequel to a console.
Kind of. I mean, there was Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
But they didn't just call it the NES 2.
No. And then there was Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. They've never done a sequel.
3DS.
Yeah.
So it's not quite as unprecedented.
It's not.
But just calling something the whatever 2.
Yeah. And it looks exactly like the Switch one. Like let's not beat around the bush. This thing looks like a Switch Pro that they're like, you know what? Let's just call it the Switch 2.
Yeah. I was actually pretty unenthusiastic about the logo, where it's literally just the Switch logo with the number 2 by it. Like I hope that's temporary.
I don't think it is because it was on the dock.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think that logo sucks.
Yeah.
I think the 2 needed to be more unique.
Yeah, like maybe like the Joy-Cons form like a Roman numeral 2 or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Because they're taller now. Like, I don't know.
Maybe they just see so much brand recognition with the Joy-Cons themselves being in that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe they don't feel it's really necessary to do anything fancy.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I don't
I
like
mean,
it.
Sony did the same thing, right? With PlayStation, they just went PS2, just basic lines, and that was it. And then when they
Best
went
PlayStation logo.
When they went to PlayStation 3, they had like the Spider-Man font, and they did that for a while. And then when they sort of redesigned the PlayStation, they gave it a PS3 variant of that logo with like a smoother font, and then they did that for the PS4 and for the PS5. So there is something to be said for utter simplicity.
It's true. It is currently unknown if the screen is an OLED, LED, or LCD. But what we do know is it still has a significant bevel to it, which is very disappointing for me. I hate that thick bevel. It pisses me off. Like, why? Why is this here? Why?
Well, with the Switch OLED, they kept it the same size and then just ate into the bezel to give it more screen real estate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I don't like the bezel at all. I think it's really annoying. This is not going to be an OLED screen. I can guarantee you that.
I'm not bothered by the bezel that much. But
I just look at like iPads and phones, and I'm like, there's like almost no bevel on these things. Like, why is
the iPad does have a bezel because you need to be able to hold it.
Yeah, but it's very thin.
It's fair. It's only about a centimeter. Yeah.
Yeah. The bevel on this thing is. It's pretty large.
On the Switch, it is also about a centimeter, but the Switch is also much smaller than an iPad. So
yeah.
As for the screen type, I also don't think it's going to be an OLED.
They'll do the same thing they did with the Switch One. They'll do an LED,
like a premium version. Yeah. So
and then they'll do a premium OLED later.
Yeah, Nintendo likes to do things on the cheap, and until OLEDs are the same or less expensive than LCDs, I think they'll do an LCD. And honestly, like LCD screens are pretty good. OLEDs are better. They absolutely look better.
The original Switch screen is fine.
Yeah, the original Switch screen looks fantastic, actually.
Yeah. But the OLED looks so much better.
Oh yeah, it looks a hell of a lot better. But I remember being really impressed by just how good the LCD on the original Switch looks. Because I have a launch Switch, and that thing still looks great. And so, yeah, OLED screen would be nice, but LCD is cheaper, and that's what Nintendo's going to do. And it's still fine. Like you're not going to get like the high dynamic range on it, but who knows if that's even going to be a thing, if they're going to have HDR enabled on the Switch 2. I hope they will, because that would be a cool thing to do for when you're in docked mode. But maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Next point, only one game card slot on the system, suggesting that it will take the same size game cards as Switch 1.
Yep.
There is an addition. Yeah.
They have said that it will be compatible with Switch 1 games.
Yep.
Which is what it absolutely needed to do more than anything else.
100%. There is an additional USB-C port on the top as well as the bottom that has not been elaborated on why it's there.
It might just be for convenience, but that's also an extra cost. I don't know how much it costs to put in a USB-C port. I can't imagine it's more than $1 worth of materials. But that's $1 that they could be saving by not having it, so maybe it's for something important.
So the theory that I've seen, and Victor Lucas talked a little bit about this, is that it could be for peripherals.
While docked.
Yeah, while docked, or even while mobile. He was like, wouldn't it be badass if you could use your old Switch 1 screen and plug it into the top of your Switch 2 to have a dual screen scenario?
That would be very awkward considering the size and weight. But
that's why there would have to be a peripheral that connects the two somehow. Like that would enable you to play like DS games.
I mean, the resolution on the Switch is high enough that you could fit them in there. They'd be kind of cramped, but you could do it.
Like on the one screen, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'd have to like turn it sideways.
Well, what you could do is you could have like one screen be big and the other one be small.
Yeah,
Like that's what they do in the Castlevania DS collection.
But that's on the normal console though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make the map screen smaller and then the gameplay screen larger.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what else it could be used for.
I mean, like a camera, microphone attachment.
Yeah, that's true. I guess
something like that.
USB-C is pretty beefy, though. I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. We'll have to see.
It'd make for a beefy camera and microphone combo.
That's true. The speakers on the system are now downward facing instead of rear facing, which should make for better audio in portable mode.
Yeah.
I always thought it was really bad audio on the portable mode. It was terrible.
I think it sounds fine, but I usually just
why is it facing away from me? I'm like, that's so dumb.
Because
the people behind me should not, or in front of me should not be able to hear it better than I can. That I'm playing the damn thing.
I can understand that because if it came out the sides, it would be blocked by the Joy-Cons. It probably
why doesn't it come out the front?
Well, because the front is so much of it is given over to the screen and to the glass for the screen.
Yeah.
And especially on the OLED where the bezels are so much smaller, there's nowhere to put it on the front.
The bottom's got to be better than the back, though.
The bottom's got to be better than the back. The top would also be a good option.
Yeah, the top is where the vents are, though.
Yeah, so that's probably why they didn't put it there. And also, like a bunch of the I/O, like the the headphone port and the game,
and now a USB-C port,
and now another USB-C. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's probably why they didn't put it in there.
You had mentioned it earlier, the newly designed kickstand with additional rubber feet on the bottom of the Switch itself.
Oh, I didn't know about those. Oh, yes. That's nice, because that's the other problem is it slides around a bunch.
Yeah, there's two little like rubber nubs on the bottom of the corners of the console itself.
Good. Excellent.
So that's probably what that is. One thing that someone on, I think it was...
Also, the kickstand is now like a multi, like it goes to many different angles. It's not just
it goes like shut. Almost all of it's almost like a perfect
the Microsoft angle. Surface does that where they have there's like a tensioning mechanism in there, so it'll give when you push, but it'll hold when you let go, and it looks very similar to that. I
will say, as big as the stand is in comparison to the piece of crap that was on the Switch One, it does look flimsy.
It looks thin.
I can see that thing snapping so easily.
My hope is that it's plastic around a piece of metal.
Yeah.
I don't know if that will be the case.
Yeah, we won't find out for a while.
But look, the fact is, it's going to provide you with way better support than just the little hatch.
I can't believe they did that.
I still say to this day, that was just a memory card hatch, and then somebody said, "Hey, if we move the hinging point upwards, it could act as a kickstand."
Could be, yeah.
Because there's no.
It was terrible.
There's no way anybody looked at that and said, "Yeah, that's a good design for a kickstand." That's an afterthought. That has to be.
The first time I brought it into work and showed people, which was like the month that it came out, because everyone was like, I couldn't find one.
Yeah.
And I was the only one who had one. I did the kickstand thing, and they're like, that design is stupid. And I'm like, why? And they came over and they like pressed the left side and it fell over.
Just the lightest tap and it collapses.
Yeah. I'm like,
the first time I opened mine, it popped out. Because it's just two little plastic nubs inside two little recessed points on the sides, and you can put it back in, but there's no like metal in there connecting it. It's just held in there by.
Maybe that was to prevent it from like snapping. So instead it was just like pop out.
But like, there's so many better ways to do that. Like, how about design a better fucking kickstand? That was honestly, in terms of the original Switch, that fucking kickstand is the only stain on what was otherwise a pretty good piece of hardware. Like, I remember like holding a Switch for the first time and being like, oh, this thing feels pretty robust. I was afraid it was going to feel kind of cheap, but it feels pretty good. Like the metal rails and everything really, adds a sense of stability to it. Like, I was impressed, and then I saw the kickstand. I was like, oh, well, that's uncharacteristically awful.
Yeah. This wasn't mentioned or shown in the video. Well, nothing was mentioned because there was no voiceover.
No.
But if you slow down the video when it gets to the point of the kickstand popping out, it looks like there's an SD slot hidden behind the.
That makes perfect sense because that's where it is on the original.
Yep.
It's a good place to conceal it so it's not as exposed to dust or water.
Yeah. They also revealed an unnamed Mario Kart game, which we're all assuming is Mario Kart 9.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. I'm two mindsets about this. Number one, using Mario Kart to sell your console at launch, brilliant.
Yeah.
Definitely you should do that because people are going to see that and want it immediately.
People like Mario Kart.
But it's not a great way to show off the visual power of your console.
I don't know about that. A racing game is pretty demanding. You got to run it at a steady
I don't mean the game itself. I'm sure when you play the game, it will look great. I have no doubt about that. Mario Kart 8 still looks great today.
No, Mario Kart 8 looks amazing.
But on this video, that shot of Mario Kart, especially with no name and no acknowledgement that it's a new game, did absolutely nothing for me in terms of like wow factor or anything like that. I'm like, oh, it's a new Mario Kart game, I think. And it looks like Mario Kart 8 in terms of visual style. Like it didn't wow me in any way. It was just like, cool, that's a good idea. But why didn't you slap the name on there?
I'm sure they're saving that for because they got a thing in April, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that as well.
I'm sure that we'll see more in depth about it then.
The only thing that was really revealed about the new Mario Kart game was that it appears to have up to 24 racers at a time.
Yeah, I saw that because there's that many starting positions at the beginning of the course.
Which is chaos incarnate. It was bad enough with 12. Now you're going to do 24?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I wonder if that's...
I feel bad for the first place player.
I wonder if that's an online-only thing.
Could be. It could also just be an option for exhibition stuff, like offline stuff. Yeah. Okay. Backwards compatibility we mentioned with Switch 1 games. However, certain games may not be supported or fully compatible.
Yeah, that's a disclaimer that they have to put in because who knows? There might be some game that doesn't quite play nice with the new processor or something.
And we already know several which won't, including 1-2 Switch, because it requires the specific features of the original Joy-Cons, like the IR sensor, which doesn't exist on the new Joy-Con, or it doesn't appear to anyway.
Yeah.
And anything that needed a peripheral where the Joy-Cons fit into it, like that, what was that, Ring Fitness one?
Oh, yeah, Ring Fit, yeah.
Or the new Joy-Cons are not going to fit into it.
Yeah, because they're a different size.
Yeah. So...
I mean, they'll probably still work. You just won't be able to put them in the plastic, ring or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just tape them to the ring and have it work like that. Because I don't think there's any active sensor in that ring. I think it's just a piece of plastic that holds them.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it's just to move the Joy-Cons in a specific way, like kind of like a Wii.
Yeah.
Situation. As you mentioned, the full Switch 2 reveal will be on April 2nd, 2025 during a special Nintendo Direct. No release date for the system has been confirmed. However, they did confirm 2025, and that hands-on experiences will run April through June.
Mm-hmm.
So we can expect that the console won't release until at least June, if not the fall.
Yeah. I mean, if they've got hands-on experiences for like people from the public to get to, that hardware's got to be pretty finalized.
Oh yeah, they've gone on record as saying that we are not going to have the same problem we did with Switch 1 and the Wii with stock shortages. The rumor is that they intend on having 20 million units at launch available, which is massive.
That's massive, and also probably what they need.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's not enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for a worldwide launch?
For a worldwide launch, that's a lot. That being said, though, it depends on when they launch it. I think that they would be very, very smart to launch it in June because they'll have a slow build to their stock going down instead of if you release it in November, it's going to disappear very fast because it's the holidays. Yeah. So I think it would be very smart of them to sell it in June, and see how it sells, and that way they can kind of keep up with demand as it goes, rather than launching it and being like, all right, this is how much we have. Oh shit, it's gone. What the fuck do we do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a slow sales build, and that way they can kind of keep up with it. So, there was no spec reveals.
However, but Nintendo hasn't disclosed specs for like anything for like the last 20 years.
No, however, there is a couple of tidbits. There's
plenty of stuff leaked.
Yeah, we can assume a couple of things. Number one, it sounds like as far as power wise, it's going to be equal to or slightly better than a Xbox One X or PlayStation 4 Pro, which is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. That's pretty damn impressive. However, that also it constitutes
it's a very nebulous thing, because more powerful in what way? Like, are we talking about processor speed? Are we talking about RAM access speed? You know, are we talking about like how many teraflops? Like, it's hard to say, oh, well, it's this much better or this much faster.
And it's not that concerning, because Nintendo's always, no one buys a Switch to play, the AAA versions of Call of Duty. Again,
but nobody buys a Switch to play the best looking version of the game, is I'm sure what he's saying. And that's true, because Nintendo hasn't really tried to compete in terms of most powerful since like the N64 days. There we go. We're starting to come back.
Am I here? Hello?
Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
Brutal. I don't know what's going on. My internet has not gone down once, so it's not me. Yeah. So I don't mean in terms of power. In terms of power, I could care less, but we are going to have the same exact issue with this console in 5 years that we had with the Switch, where it's going to start becoming obsolete quickly, and we're going to have problems running games, just like the Switch. So that's kind of disappointing in a way.
If this uses DLSS,
that's what I was about to mention,
right?
Because they're the only NVIDIA console manufacturer. So if they're using DLSS 3 or 4, holy shit!
Yeah, they'll be able to run games at lower resolutions and upscale them quite nicely, because DLSS looks really good.
My expectation, and they could blow me away with not doing this and going further, but my expectation is that they're probably going to aim for 1080p 60. That's my guess.
That would be nice.
I would be perfectly fine with that. I have 4K to me is still not. I have a 75-inch television, and I couldn't tell you the difference between a 4K video game and a 1080p video game.
It's hard when you're sitting at couch distance.
What? So I gotta fall back a little bit.
You gotta be sitting at computer monitor distance for it to really
close.
Matter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm pretty close back there.
I know.
5 feet.
You gotta be close to that. The screen has got to be like 2 or 3 feet away from you at most.
So I got to get a bigger screen, is what you're telling me, to enjoy 4K. So like if it's 1080p, I hope the portable mode is 1080p. 60.
I don't think it will be, simply because it gives them a lower end spec to target.
Speaking of that, the rumored price is $399 US.
Unsurprising.
Oh, that's $100 more than the Switch, but we're also in a much different economic time than.
Yeah, and it's like $700 for a PS5.
Yeah, Canadian, by the way, people, Canadian.
Yeah.
And $1,000 for PS5 Pro.
Yep.
For the psychos out there who buy that. Yeah. So we know that we're probably getting Mario Kart 9 as a launch title. We're probably getting Metroid Prime 4 as a launch title, which probably means we're not getting a Mario game at launch.
Well,
which is interesting.
Other than Mario Kart.
I meant like the 3D Mario
But
series.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm very interested in seeing what the mouse support stuff is all about, and whatever that extra buttons for and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing I was a little disappointed about was April 2nd. Why are we waiting so long, guys? What, like,
hype?
But the hype was already real.
Yeah, the hype is already huge. Yeah.
Yeah, you've revealed it, and now we have to wait 3 months to get anything else. Weird.
Maybe they want to. Maybe that supports a June date. Maybe they want to be able to say, and it's out next month. Or
the next month after April would be May.
Yeah, sorry. It's out in 2 months.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So if we look at, so I have a first-party tracker here for the 3 main console manufacturers. So Nintendo's not transparent when it comes to their studios, no. So we don't really know how they work internally. But we have no information on the next 3D Zelda, 3D Mario, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Smash Brothers, F-Zero, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, or Star Fox.
I'll tell you what the information on the next F-Zero game is.
It's right in the title. Yeah, it does not exist. I'm actually going to move Mario Kart up because it was under a question mark, but it's not a question mark now.
Yeah, new Zelda. I don't know, man. They put out Tears of the Kingdom, and then they put out Echoes of Wisdom the following year.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before we get a Zelda.
I think we're in for a while before we get a big new Zelda game.
Yeah. 3D Mario, you have to assume it would be like a year after the launch, maybe within a year. Yeah, it's been a while.
That's
since,
what it was with
Odyssey.
With Odyssey.
Was it a year after?
It was within the first year or so.
Yeah. Donkey Kong, Kirby, Smash.
Well, I mean, Donkey Kong, they're just coming out with that Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So
yeah, that's true.
Maybe it'll be Tropical Freeze next.
I think they already did.
Did they already do Tropical Freeze?
I think they released it on Switch already. So
okay. All right. Sure. Well, yeah.
Kirby, I guess they already did that Forgotten Land recently, so that's probably a ways off.
Maybe it'll be a smaller scale Kirby game because they had Kirby Star Allies, I think it was, for the Switch, and then they did Forgotten Land. So maybe it'll be another side-scrolling Kirby game again.
Here's what I think what's going to happen with Smash. I don't think they're going to make another one for this entire gen. I think they are probably going to repackage Ultimate for the Switch 2, like remaster it in some way, like boost it in some way.
Maybe. I mean, they did get a lot of guest characters in there.
Yeah.
So it would be... Yeah.
For them to do another game and match that?
Yeah, I think...
That's a tall order.
Yeah, there's got to be another Smash Brothers game because it's too popular to not do. But I think it's probably going to be not a reboot, but like a reboot of the approach to it of sorts. Like, I don't think they're going to try and get every character from every possible version in the past, just because that's such a tall order.
That's why I don't think we're going to get one this gen. I think they're going to skip a gen. I think they're just going to what's the word? Leverage.
Yeah,
they're going to leverage the fact that the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, and
they might. But I mean,
that's the other question I have actually is the games are backwards compatible. Are they going to have any benefit from the extra horsepower automatically, or are they going to have to patch things in?
It may likely
nothing?
Be patches. I don't know if there'll be just out of the box generic support like there is on the Xbox systems.
Because man, I would kill to play the 2 Zeldas
at 60 FPS. At
60 FPS and 1080p. I would be sick.
For a frame rate boost like that, I think they would probably need a patch. Because there might be stuff that's tied to the frame rate, maybe. I don't know, and that would need to be done with a patch probably, because otherwise it would be weird, like stuff would be moving twice as fast or something if it's tied to the frame rate. rendering resolution you could probably just do as like a toggle, because I mean it already changes. Like the Zelda games already have dynamic resolutions, I believe. And they also change for whether or not you're in handheld or docked mode. So there's probably just an internal value that can be changed. So I don't think you need a patch for that. You could probably force that from the system hardware. But more extensive stuff would probably require patching. Yeah. But I'm hoping that we get performance boosts, because it would sure be nice.
Yeah, be great. So my only worry with the Switch 2, and I don't think it'll be a problem because, they've branded it correctly. It looks not significantly different, but different enough to noticeably different, noticeably improved. But I do have a slight worry that it won't sell as well as the Switch 1 because it's so similar, and people will have a harder time selling. Well, kids will have a harder time selling their parents on it.
Yeah,
because it looks the same. So an uninformed parent will go, "You have one, fuck off."
Well, I mean there's a slight problem with that argument, is because a lot of those parents are our age and are probably familiar with video games themselves. It's not like it was with our parents when we were kids.
True, and also phones these days are labeled with numbers. Yeah. So you would assume that people would understand that their significance is.
Yeah. But yeah, as for like as a thing to entertain the kids, buying the big brand new one when the old one is there and has plenty of games and is cheaper. Yeah. This is why I think that the Switch 1 will probably have kind of a sales bump, because there's probably going to be a price drop, and then it'll be real cheap to pick one up. Like they'll probably what is the price of the Switch currently? Do you know that off the top of your head?
I think it's still $249 Canadian. I could be wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped it down to like 200 or maybe even 175 or something. I don't think it'll go as low as 150. Although, I mean, who knows? Maybe it will if they've got the manufacturing process to, dirt cheap. But
checking the prices right. Oh, never mind. Ooh, shit! It's still $399.
Really? Is that the OLED?
Nope. That is the original, the OG. The OLED is $449.
Oh shit!
Yeah, okay. But that's the Canadian market.
Yeah, that's the Canadian market.
So
but I don't know. I do think it'll be a harder sell than the original Switch.
Definitely.
Because there are going to be people who say, I don't need one at launch because I already have my Switch. It wasn't like the Wii U where you couldn't take it with you. Yeah. Because the Switch is also not just the home system, it's also the portable system. So
yeah,
it's as much a replacement for the DS as it was for the Wii U.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Switch 2 is gonna have quite that same momentum.
You never know with that launching with Mario Kart 9.
Well,
that might set it on fire.
I don't think that it's not going to have momentum. I think it'll probably be a bit of a harder sell, but yes, I don't think it'll suffer for it.
Not in the immediate.
Yeah.
No. All right. Here's the question: do you intend on buying one at launch?
I don't know.
Knowing what you know now.
Knowing what I know now, it's kind of pricey, and there's only one game that we know about.
Yeah, that's $399 US.
Yeah,
if that price is true.
So,
which would probably
if we assume that this is the state it launches in, no. But I'm assuming it's going to have more titles at launch.
I wouldn't bet on that.
Come on.
I bet you it'll be Metroid Prime and Mario Kart, and we'll get a slow drip from then on. It's Nintendo.
Metroid Prime is look. Mario Kart is not as good an argument to me as Metroid Prime.
Metroid, I would say they're pretty equal. Mario Kart is as long legs.
Yeah,
Metroid Prime is
I really like
goodness.
Metroid, so
yeah. I will probably not be picking one up. Just because I sort of regret buying the original Switch. At launch because the OLED looks so sexy.
Yeah, but it took so long for that thing to come out, though.
It did. It did. I'm hoping my hope is that they don't make that same mistake this time, and that they come out, or maybe even the damn thing launches with two versions. You have an OLED version at launch. Like that would be the smart thing to do.
Maybe.
Have an OLED version and a regular version. But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. We still got plenty of time, but I know that your voice is probably hurting. So let's move on to Xbox.
Sure.
So I've got a breakdown of Xbox here and their studios and how they're doing. So their first studio is the Coalition. These are the guys responsible for Gears 4, Gears 5, Gears Tactics. They're currently working on Gears of War E-Day. Obsidian. This is the guys that made them Grounded and Pentiment. Mm-hmm. They are working on Avowed and Outer Worlds 2. Arcane Lion, because the rest of Arcane is gone now. Arcane Lion was the Redfall team, unfortunately. Yep. But they are working on Blade, Marvel's Blade game.
Oh, okay.
In Exile has not made anything with Xbox as of yet. I can't remember what they made before.
Wasteland.
Yes, Wasteland and the Bard's Tale remake and stuff like that.
Well, that's because they're a lot of the original Bard's Tale and Wasteland people from the 80s.
Yep. They're working on Clockwork Revolution, which looks like a BioShock kind of game. We haven't really heard anything since it was announced, though, so it's got me a little concerned. Playground Games.
Maybe it'll be part of that Xbox developer showcase. Maybe it's the mystery game.
It could be. Well, no, I said a brand new game from a studio.
Oh, okay.
So not yet revealed. Playground Games is doing the Fable reboot, and they are the Forza Horizon team.
Oh yeah.
The Initiative, they're a brand new team that was put together for the Perfect Dark reboot. So that's what they're working on. Compulsion. They haven't done anything.
It's weird that they own Rare, but they're giving Perfect Dark to someone else.
Yeah, but Rare's not the same team anymore. You know, and they're not a shooter team by any means. But the Initiative is, I think if I remember correctly, the Initiative was the quadruple A studio that they created, which was just a stupid term. Especially since they're working with Crystal Dynamics on the reboot now. Couldn't do it themselves, even though they're a quadruple A.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on the quadruple A thing. I think it was the Initiative, but it might be someone else. Compulsion's the next one. They haven't done anything with Xbox specifically yet, but they're the team behind We Happy Few.
Oh, yeah.
They're the ones working on South of Midnight, that gorgeous looking game. Undead Labs, the State of Decay team. They're working on State of Decay 3. Bethesda Studios obviously just got finished with Starfield. They're working on Elder Scrolls 6, presumably, at this point.
Yeah.
We know they're working on Doom the Dark Ages. They have not done anything for Xbox as of yet, so Doom Dark Ages will be their first Xbox Studios game. Turn 10, that's the Forza Motorsport team. We do not know what they're doing, but presumably it's the next Forza game.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of studios that we don't know what they're doing, including Halo Studios, which was the 343 Industries before. Obviously, I'm sure they're working on Halo.
Yeah.
But what Halo, we don't know. World's Edge Studio. They're the guys that made Age of Empires 4 and Age of Mythology Retold. So I assume they're working on another RTS of some kind, but don't know. They just released Age of Mythology, so I'm sure whatever they're working on is a long way off.
Yeah.
Machine Games, they just released Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for Xbox, so we have no clue what they're working on next.
Yeah,
probably a sequel. It might not be as far as we think. I would guess within the next 2 to 3 years we'll probably get an Indiana Jones game again, because this thing did gangbusters for them as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I mean if they've got like assets and engine and everything, I mean that's id Tech I think they're using, so well documented and they're experienced with it. They might be able to put out a new one faster than they put out this one.
Yeah, I still got to play it. I've heard great things.
So. Yeah, nothing but good things.
Blizzard, their last game was Diablo 4. we're completely unaware of what they're working on at this point. So who knows what they're working on? No clue. Ninja Theory, they released Hellblade 2, so whatever they're working on next will presumably be 4 to 6 years away, probably. Rare, obviously they're the Sea of Thieves team. They did have a game called Everwild that they announced, but we haven't heard anything from that for like 3 years, 4 years at this point. So who knows what that is. They own Double Fine. Yep. Their last game was Psychonauts 2. Don't know what they're doing. And of course they own Mojang. Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft Legends.
Yep.
Don't know what they're doing either. So Xbox is in a weird place, obviously. You know, their console business is basically dying. From what I hear, the PlayStation 5 is outselling the Xbox like 5 to 1 or something crazy like that. So, you know, they've conceded the console business, but at the same time, they're still investing in it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, they're clearly going with this like Xbox is everywhere approach. You know, I really don't. I have to assume that if the Xbox handheld doesn't fly, and the next console doesn't fly, they're probably going to just exit out of the hardware business. I can't imagine why they would continue to do that when they own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20, we'll say 20 studios. Like you're just be a third-party studio at that point. Like why?
Well, just make PC games. You own the OS market by a significant margin.
Yeah. But I mean, they could make even more money by putting their games on PlayStation.
So. Oh, yeah.
And they're already doing that. That was one of the rumors for the Switch 2 was that at the Switch 2 Direct, that's when they're going to announce that Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to Switch 2.
I mean, I would say that that's crazy, but Bungie was working on a DS Halo prototype.
Mm-hmm. And we already know that they're releasing Xbox games on PlayStation now, so
yeah, and Microsoft has tried to be buddy up with Nintendo for a while, and there is cross-platform Nintendo and Xbox play on select titles. So
yeah, they put Ori and the Will of the Wisps and Ori and the Blind Forest on.
It's
Why don't I have Moon Studios on here?
It's absolutely not unthinkable that Master Chief Collection could come to Switch 2. That wouldn't be a bad place for it.
I'm going to look into Moon Studios real quick here. Did they close? Because they were not in the list. Or are they not owned by... Maybe they're not owned by Xbox and they're just a second party. Yeah, they're a second party. Interesting. I can't believe they were never purchased.
I wonder if they're going to put Elden Ring on the Switch too. Seems like it would be a logical thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
With the DLC still being pretty fresh. They could put out
the first year
Elden Ring Complete Edition that has the main game in Shadow of the Erdtree.
Dude.
That'd be a good opportunity.
The first year of Switch 2 is going to be 1,000 ports of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games. I guarantee you.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Getting Dark Souls 3 on the go.
Wasn't that a PS3, Xbox 360
No,
gen?
that's a PS4, Xbox One game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You're thinking of Dark Souls 2.
Oh, so Dark Souls 3 wasn't on the same gen as 1 and 2?
Nope.
Wow, that's weird. Yeah, that would be really cool though.
I wouldn't buy it again, but
no, either would I.
I would be very happy to see it portable because I love Dark Souls 3.
I'm much more likely to purchase a Steam Deck or the Xbox handheld.
Yeah, or one of the other handheld PCs like the GPD Win or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with any of those third parties. There's too many unknowns with them and too many weird
the GPD
oddities.
Win has very, very good hardware and has been reviewed very well.
My plan was to wait for Steam Deck 2 and pick up a Steam Deck 2 whenever that comes.
Or there's the ROG Ally, which we have both played the same unit apparently.
Yep.
And that thing ran Forza really, really well. I've talked about it, but I was really impressed. I was like, wow, this is like having an Xbox One that I can hold.
Yep.
This is pretty cool.
It would, and being able to run PC Game Pass on those things.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, Xbox is in a weird place. They seem, every time they take a step forward, they seem to take a step back. So it's difficult
and it's
to.
not entirely clear when and how this happened. Like it seemed like everything was going well for them until it wasn't.
Well, I mean, as soon as they revealed the Xbox One, everything fell to shit. That's when things turned for them, and it just went
Xbox
down.
One did pretty well.
I don't think it sold. It definitely didn't sell as well the PS4. I know that.
Well, no, but that's because it's never going to sell as well in Japan.
Yeah, but 360 sold really well compared to PS3.
Yeah. Well, I think the PS3 ultimately did outsell the 360, but it not until like really late in its life.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. The Xbox One, there was just no reason to buy an Xbox One. Like, what exclusives can you tell me that are must-buys on Xbox One?
I mean, I don't have one, so I can't think of any off the top of my head.
There's a reason that you and I both don't have one.
Well, no,
it's not a good console.
The reason is different. The reason is I have a beefy ass gaming PC.
Well, true.
Because it's also true. I also don't have a PS4.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
yeah, yeah, we'll see where Xbox goes from here. I'm very well, I mean, we'll have a huge update next week.
Yeah.
So, that'll be fun to talk about next week. All right, let's move on to PlayStation.
I could get into the idea of an Xbox handheld as like a portable gaming PC direct from Microsoft.
Yeah, I would totally buy that. If I had the choice, I would much rather have a PlayStation portable that can play all my PS5 and PS4 games, because my library is like 1,000 games strong on that system.
Yeah,
so I would love to take that library with me, but
yeah,
we haven't seen anything from them.
Yeah, yet. Unless you want the Portal, which is just a streaming device.
A streaming device, yeah. Which does work well apparently, but yeah, I don't. Yeah. Speaking of PlayStation, let's get to PlayStation. So I have the list of their first-party studios as well, which is now dwarfed by Xbox, which is crazy, because PlayStation has dominated the first-party scene for the last 3 gens, basically. All right, they have Polyphony Digital, who is the Gran Turismo team.
Yep.
And we assume that they're working on GTA.
Yeah, because that's about all they do.
That's all they do.
So they make Gran Turismo games.
Yep. San Diego studio, which is the MLB studio. So yep. I'm assuming they're still working on MLB. What a sad existence that must be, to just be making a yearly sports game every single fucking year. Oh,
I mean, I guess it's a reliable paycheck, but it's got to be really creatively unfulfilling.
Oh, really creatively unfulfilling for sure. Hey, guess what I rendered this week?
A baseball. Is it a baseball?
What'd you do last week? A bat. What'd you do last year? Same thing.
A base.
A base, yes. Guerrilla Studio. These are the Killzone guys, and obviously they made Horizon 1 and 2. We know that they are working on Horizon 3. There was also rumors of them working on a Horizon mobile game, and also a Horizon co-op game of some kind, but none of this has materialized. They're basically dark right now.
Yeah, the co-op thing seems like it would be a mode to put in Horizon 3.
I would prefer that, honestly.
Like, because can you imagine? Because we played through the co-op mode on Portal 2, and it's a completely different set of levels. Can you imagine if that was a separate game? Like how irritating that would be?
Yeah. So when I think about Horizon, it's definitely like an RPG, a huge, 50-hour RPG. It's a big game, right?
Yep.
Beautiful graphics, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
All that has to be downgraded in co-op. Mm-hmm. And, you also have to take out the main character. It has to be, I don't know. I'm just not on board for it. I can see them doing like a Monster Hunter style co-op game in the Horizon universe, because you got all these robots,
or like
and all that
some kind of mission based thing.
Yeah, something more focused than an RPG. So maybe that, but I think Guerrilla needs to stick to what they're best at and forget all that multiplayer garbage and just finish Horizon 3 and then move on to something else when you're done with that. I don't agree with this expanding Horizon franchise stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. Oversaturation, as we've talked about before.
Yeah.
There's also Sucker Punch, which we now know is working on Ghost of Yote.
Yote.
Damn it!
You'll get it. Once you start hearing it more in the marketing material, it'll become second nature.
Yeah. Ghost of Yote. Ghost of Yote. Ghost of Yote.
Yep.
It's been a month, so I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Ghost of Yote. Tay. All right. So we know they're working on that. Obviously,
which looks
that,
sick. I mean,
oh god, like I said, that made me replay Ghost of Tsushima, and yep. I loved it even more. I mean, I gave it an 8 originally, and then I basically bumped it up to a 9.
Yeah.
After playing it a second time, so I'm down for that. Obviously, they also made Infamous and Sly Cooper. And then we have Haven Studios, which
maybe
is
that's the thing that PlayStation could revive is like Sly Cooper HD collection.
They did a collection for PS3, and they did a Sly Cooper 4 for PS3, and then they just kind of left it. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it didn't sell well.
Maybe.
I mean, the collection must have sold well because they made a 4th game.
Yeah, but then maybe the 4th game. Maybe it was like a Crash 4 situation.
Yeah. Haven Studios, they're the new studio that hasn't made a game yet. They're making Fair Games, one of the only live service games left in Sony's,
after the thing Jocket. We're not even going to bother bringing up.
No, we're not checking the bingo card today.
No, not happening.
Insomniac is working on Marvel's Wolverine. We thought they were working on a Venom game, but that hasn't materialized, so don't know if that's a real thing anymore.
That could be like just like a spin-off to the Spider-Man games.
Yeah. That's what we assumed, but I figured it'd be out by now. Or at least revealed by now. And the fact that it's not makes me think that it may have been scrapped.
Maybe.
Because they did Spider-Man 1, and then very quickly after that they did Miles Morales. And then a year or two after that they did Spider-Man 2. So I feel like we're in the window where Venom would be revealed and released.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, maybe they want it to be a full game or something.
Ugh, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Don't. No. If it was my call, I would say skip the spinoff, work on Wolverine, go back and finish Spider-Man 3, and then move on to something else. But
yeah, maybe make Venom part of Spider-Man 3, like you can play as Spider-Man or Venom or something,
You do play as Venom in Spider-Man 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why the spinoff was assumed.
You can tell that I haven't played Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yep, it's on the list.
Yep, yeah. Obviously now, since the Game Awards, we know that Naughty Dog is working on Intergalactic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can all assume they're working on Last of Us Part 3 as well.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe in early stages. The weird thing about Last of Us Part 3 is that you would think they would want to coincide it with the show or the game to like Part 3 to come out before the show gets to that point. So that means they would have to release it by 2027.
Yeah.
And we don't even have a release date for Intergalactic, so I'm a little kerfuffled. Like, there's no way they're going to continue the Last of Us show before the game's out. And then put the game out later. Well,
there's absolutely nothing stopping them from doing that. That's like saying, "Oh, they're not gonna finish Game of Thrones before the books are done."
Yeah, look how that turned out.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah. But yeah, Intergalactic. I'm sure we'll see more of that later this year.
Yeah.
Fire Sprite. They're the team. They're the VR team. Yeah. So they did the Persistence and Horizon VR.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what they come out with because I've said it before. The PS2 VR seems like it's a really impressive piece of kit for a reasonable
PS5
price.
VR too.
PS5 fucking whatever.
PSVR 2, we'll call it. You called it PS2 VR, I think.
Did I fucking?
That's so funny,
dude. I'm working hard here.
You're fine. You're fine.
I'm trying.
You're good. But yeah, I agree. I'm completely interested in seeing what they do next. If it's another VR title or if they're getting the reins to do a regular game. So we'll see. Housemarque. We don't know what they're doing. Their last game was Returnal. Obviously, they're synonymous with Sony at this point. They did the Stardust series, Dead Nation, Resogun.
Oh yeah.
Alien Nation, Nex Machina, Matterfall, all that kind of stuff. So, and Returnal was well received. So, I would suspect they've never done a sequel. I will say that all of their games are
one and done,
self-contained. Yeah, one and done. I mean, they've done a couple of different Stardust games, but they're all Stardust. They're just an arcade puzzle game. But all the other ones have been one and done. So, I would love a Returnal too, though. Media Molecule. I'm honestly kind of blown away that they exist still.
Are they the what was
Little Big Planet team? They did Dreams.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of Echo Chrome. I was trying to remember the name of it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know who did that. That wasn't a first party.
Wasn't a first party? Okay.
I don't think so. Let me look it up real quick.
I thought it was because it was exclusive to the PSP.
It was on PS3 as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's still technically exclusive if it didn't go anywhere else outside of the PlayStation ecosystem.
Yeah, I can't find Echo Chrome. There it is. Who made that? Oh, yeah, it was Sony. Sony Japan. Which doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, so it's Japan Studio, so okay. Well.
Media Molecule was Little Big Planet and Tearaway and Dreams.
Oh yeah.
And Dreams was obviously a massive failure.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Not the biggest failure they've ever had.
No, but again, we don't need to hit that bingo card.
We're not checkmarking that, yeah.
No.
But it's probably the second biggest failure, I would say. So the fact that they're still around is very odd to me.
Yeah.
And then we got Sony Bend, the Days Gone team.
Yep.
We know that one of their games just got canceled.
Yeah.
So
they have plenty of time to work on something else now.
Yeah, the rumor was that they were going to make a multiplayer game using the Days Gone engine, but that got canceled. So they're working on another new IP using the Days Gone engine.
Yeah, that would be the sensible thing to do.
I don't know why they didn't make a sequel. Days Gone's amazing.
Well, I don't think it did very well.
It did okay in the long run, but it definitely didn't set the world. Yeah, it didn't set the world on
fire.
Well,
yeah, you know what else did okay in the long run? Beyond Good and Fucking Evil.
That's true. And that sequel never happened either.
Yeah. It's never gonna happen at this rate. Or who knows? Who knows? Maybe this is the thing that'll get it to happen.
Yeah. Maybe they'll sell it to someone and they'll make
somebody
it.
Who gives a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Then they have Blue Point. They're the remake studio. So they did Gravity Rush remake, Shadow of the Colossus remake, Demon Souls remake.
Yep.
And they just had a game canceled. So I assume that's not the only thing they were working on.
Maybe they'll do a PC port of Bloodborne. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I maybe they should just do a remake of Bloodborne for both PC and PS5. That's what everyone wants. But apparently, so the rumor mill from various sources at this point is that who's the guy that worked on the Souls guys? Who's the Souls guy?
You talking about Hidetaka Miyazaki?
Miyazaki, yeah. Apparently, he doesn't want anyone else touching it. But he's so busy that he doesn't have enough time to do it himself. So it's just sitting in purgatory, basically, until he's ready to do something with it. So...
But he was... I mean, they were okay. Well, I guess he doesn't... Well, no, because Sony owns Bloodborne in the same way that they own Demon Souls. So he wouldn't really have a say in it, would he? Like, if they really want to go ahead and do it?
If Sony really wants to go ahead and do it, yeah. There must be something else going on there, though. I don't know. I don't know what it could be. the only other thing I can think of is that because Sony was trying to buy Katakawa,
yeah,
maybe they were like, we don't want to piss him off.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, we don't want to make him mad, and then we buy this thing, and then From Software becomes
uncooperative.
Miyazaki-less.
Yeah.
So that could be one. We talked about Santa Monica, the God of War team.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm hopeful that they're working on something new. Six God of War games later, it's time to move on.
Yeah, Jesus.
And then they have Team Asobi, which is the Astrobot guys.
Yeah.
So I assume we'll probably get Astrobot 2.
Or DLC for it.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, they've already been doing DLC.
Yeah.
Free DLC for it.
Now, maybe there'll be like a massive paid DLC thing that's like a big expansion or something.
Could be. For sure.
It seems like the kind of thing that's pretty flexible.
Yep. So obviously PlayStation's killing it. At least from a financial standpoint. You know, they're rocking the house. I still stand by that the PlayStation 5 generation has been the most lackluster PlayStation generation of all time.
Yeah. Because it takes so fucking long to get games out now.
Not just that, but like they've made some serious unforced errors with their focus on live service games that all fucking collapsed. Basically, that whole initiative is just collapsing beneath them. So they're basically starting from scratch over halfway through the generation and don't have a whole lot to show for it.
Yeah, it's very
as far
strange.
as exclusives. Yeah, terrible foresight on their
like
part.
To have a fairly successful piece of hardware that's been doing pretty well, but then like not have a shit ton of games to back it up with.
Here's my theory. They saw how amazing the thing was selling. They knew that Xbox was fucked. So they're like, you know what? If we're ever going to take a gamble...
They're just going to coast.
Yeah. If we're ever going to take a gamble on live service games, now's the time to do it. See if it works. If we hit it out of the park, we hit it out of the park and we make fuckloads of money. And if it doesn't work, well, we're still in the lead. We're still selling gangbusters.
Yeah, we lose $400 million.
We can take the hit. Yeah. Well, it's not 400 million. It was 200 million.
It's 200 million, whatever.
Well, the total cost for the game was 400 million, but they only put in 200 million themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's clear from all of these cancellations that they know that
they've seen the writing on the wall.
They can't.
Better late than never.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we're going to get a really sick final year or two of PlayStation 5.
Yeah, finally that slate will be nice and full of just good single-player games or standard multiplayer games and not any of this bullshit.
But this is definitely the first PlayStation... Actually, this is probably the first console I've ever purchased that I regret buying.
Yeah, it's been kind of empty other than backwards compatibility and ports from the PS4. And the occasional interesting original thing.
But the problem is 90% of it is also on PS4.
Yeah.
So I could have just kept my PS4 Pro hooked up and played them there and been probably fine with it.
Yeah.
You know? So that is very disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the stuff that's on the horizon is pretty cool. We got Horizon 3. You know, we got Ghost of Yotei.
There you go.
Marvel's Wolverine, I'm sure will be sick. Intergalactic, I'm sure will be sick. You know, whatever all these other studios are working on, you know, I'm sure will be sick. One thing I definitely don't want to see across both PlayStation and Xbox next generation is this fucking huge 5 years into the next gen, you're still doing the previous gen shit.
Yeah.
I mean, for PlayStation, I understand why. They are selling this console like gangbusters, so they don't need to put exclusives on it.
Yeah. And look, I love the massive backwards compatibility support. That's awesome. But you don't need to keep putting out games for the old system.
No.
Not this far in.
Get people to move over. I mean, we're at the point now, we're basically in year 5 out of presumably 8, right?
Yeah.
If people haven't hopped over by now, they're not going to.
They're just going to wait.
They're just going to wait for PS6. And I'm at the point where I might wait for a PS6 Pro.
Yeah.
after being burned this generation. You know, unless they come out of the gate and say we're not doing a repeat of last gen. PS6, we'll play PS6 games, and it will be backwards compatible, but we're making games for PS6.
Do you remember?
But I don't think that's going to happen, though.
You remember when the PS3 came out and had like nothing good on it for a year, and people were like, "Oh my god, this is the worst thing ever."
Yep. Yeah.
Doesn't that seem quaint?
It does, because by the end of that generation.
Oh yeah, by the end of not even by the end. By year 2, the PS3 had good games.
Yeah.
But it was weird for a system to go that long without having. It's not just that it didn't have anything good. It's that it was like a lot of lackluster stuff, like Lair and fucking Heavenly Sword and stuff. It was like
Heavenly Sword. Oh my god.
Yeah. But then once the good games started coming out, they didn't stop.
Yeah.
And now it's like there are good games on the PS5, but a lot of them are also on PS4.
Yeah. Yeah, like God of War Ragnarok. Couldn't believe when they announced that was for PS4. I'm like, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess you guys, you want people to be able to play the sequel who don't have a PS5, but it's like, isn't that the point of a new console?
Yeah.
Is to be able to play the next great thing?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't
and not
need
have it held back by the limitations. Because, like, there's a reason why none of these games rely on ray tracing, right? Even though the PS5 has the hardware to do it, it's because if they're making a PS4 version, they got to be able to do the traditional rasterized lighting as well. And that means they can't build their entire lighting model around ray tracing. People have, like, they've gotten a really bad impression of ray tracing. I see people complaining about it all the time. Like, oh, what's the difference? Well, the difference is a lot of games aren't really using it because they're still targeting older hardware. Once ray tracing hardware is all that's supported,
it's the standard,
and it's the standard, you will see dramatic changes to lighting models for the better. When ray tracing is used correctly, it looks amazing, but it has to actually be used.
Yeah, especially when combined with Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
And the luminous thing or whatever they call it.
Like the fucking like God, some of the lighting effects in Stalker, even when they're not always correct because it's not hardware ray tracing, it's their software, it's the Unreal like ray tracing thing. It still looks really good. Like the bounce lighting in like the way that light comes in to a room and then like colors the inside from what it's reflected off of. It looks really good. It looks so fucking good. And like if you like still Quake 2 RTX, holy shit. The game has amazing lighting.
Yep.
I mean that thing is entirely ray traced, which you wouldn't be able to do with modern games because think of all the surfaces that they'd have to bounce off of because Quake 2 is a game from 1997.
Yeah.
But
I there are a couple of games, first party games from PlayStation that have ray tracing modes where it turns on.
And it's usually like shadow based or reflection based or something.
Reflection based, yeah. And it does look good.
Yeah.
But it's not worth the 30 frames per second drop that it requires. That's the other thing that really pisses me off about this gen is that they really oversold the PS5's power. Really oversold it. They're all like, "Oh yeah, I can do 8K and it can do ray tracing 60 frames per second," and then like none of that came true.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, you guys gotta figure out your shit before you sell this shit, man.
It can do that, but not with the graphical fidelity of games like Elden Ring or Stalker 2 or Horizon Zero Dawn.
And it can't do ray tracing at 60. There isn't a single game that can do ray tracing at 60 on the PS5.
Yeah, unless you have a really lo-fi game like Quake 2 that you then plug this entirely new lighting system into.
Or if you have a PS5 Pro, and for some games now.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not paying $1,000 to get what I should have got.
Yeah. To get what was on the box.
Yeah. Brutal. Yeah, so, it's a weird generation. It's a very weird generation.
It is.
And I hope that the next gen is much more compartmentalized than this gen, but I don't think it will. I think this is just going to be the new norm.
Yeah, well, with development cycles taking as long as they do, it's unsurprising that so many games are still. And again, we do have to, of course, acknowledge that COVID delayed so much.
Yeah.
And that
we're out of that boat now, though.
Yeah. So, I
We're out
mean,
of that
maybe
boat.
it won't be as bad for the next one, but with the, 5, 6, 7 year development cycles that some games have, like Cyberpunk, um, it's not surprising that there would be holdovers. Like if you
Yeah,
started, like if you start a game when the PS4 launches and it's a game that ends up taking 7 years, it's going to come out when the PS5 comes out. You know?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. We'll see where this gen goes. I definitely think the entire industry is kind of in a shift right now. Trying to,
It's gonna have to shift because the bloat is out of control.
yeah, yeah. There's too many games coming out too often. Um,
That cost way too much and
yeah.
burn through way too many people.
There's also just way too many games in general. Like anytime, like if you go on the PlayStation Store every week, there's like a mountain of new games every week, and I'm
Yeah,
like, what? Like, there's got to be some better quality control. There's got to
yeah,
be, I don't know. They something needs to change.
yeah. I mean, it's the
Um,
same. It's the same thing with the Switch. Like they've got
oh,
games
oh my
with
God, it's worse on the Switch.
just AI built like dating sim games where all the art is just AI generated and all
Have you
that
heard
shit.
of GameScoop, the podcast GameScoop
No,
on
I'm not
IGN?
familiar.
It's like 700 and it's almost, I think it's almost 800 episodes in. They're long standing
Oh, okay.
podcasts that I listen to, and every so often they have a segment called the Nintendo Seal of Quantity,
Oh God. Oh, that's
where they talk about
good.
the worst games, and they're like, and we will continue to do this until Nintendo actually looks at what they put on their stupid fucking store.
Yeah, like how does this happen?
Yeah,
Like
an 89-cent game called Firefighter Simulator New York LAPD. Like, what? What are you talking about?
yeah.
Shoot 'em up Simulator 3000 Flight.
Yeah, it's like the shit that they would dump onto the App Store, but
Yeah.
now going
Now
yeah,
it's infecting all the other stores.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand.
Yeah, like there's clearly no team that quality controls these stores. They're just
Yeah.
like, oh, someone's applied for a game. Does it meet certification? Yep. Okay, put it on there.
Yeah. Does it have malware? Does there a crypto miner?
Yeah,
Does it crash the system? Is it a backdoor that people are using to
yeah,
clear the system and fucking rootkit it or whatever?
yeah,
No?
it's brutal.
Then fucking put it on.
Yeah, it's absolutely brutal. All right. I think. Do you have anything else to add to the PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo
No, I
ecosystem?
think we've covered it.
I think we did pretty well. Which leads us to video game 20 questions. And this week, we're going back to the classic.
Yeah, we're gonna
that
try
started it all.
We're gonna try the IGN thing again.
We're trying it and seeing how accurate it is this time. We'll see if we get screwed, but we're gonna co-op this and see how it goes. I did try it the other day, and it was accurate. Don't know whether I got lucky or if they've improved it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this is their AI large language like model 20 questions game thing.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off with what we always start off with, which is: did this game originally release on or after January 1st? Oops, January 1st. Do we want to do 2000 or 2001?
Let's do 2000.
Well, 2000. If we do 2000, January 1st, 2001, wouldn't that be after the PS2? Like right after the PS2?
Yeah, so this will tell us if it's pre PS2 or not. If we say 2000. I think it's better to have a clear separation like that.
Well, there's a year there still, but I guess yeah. Okay, let's do January 1st, 2000. Yes, the game originally released on or after January 1st, 2000.
Okay.
We'll do 2010.
Yeah, let's do 2010.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we do 2020 or just?
I mean, we're 5 years after. I think we ought to.
Damn. Did this game originally release on or after January 1st, 2020? God, that's scary. We're getting old.
Yep.
No. Okay.
Okay.
So a 2010s game. Was this game originally exclusive to one platform?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Should we ask? Just go through the main console manufacturers.
Yeah. Well, here we only need to ask about 2, because we can then unless it's a PC game.
Yeah, it could be a PC exclusive.
Ooh. Well, the point is we don't need to go through all of them. We can eliminate all but one, and then we'll know. So yeah, let's say, was this for a Nintendo platform?
No.
Okay. Xbox.
Xbox didn't have too many in that era, but we can ask. PlayStation definitely had way more. Do we want to say Xbox or PlayStation?
Yeah, let's say Xbox.
You were right. Yes, it is.
Well, then that narrows it down if there weren't that many.
So Xbox One or Xbox Series?
Or 360.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be Xbox Series. Yeah, it's either 360 or Xbox One. Because the 2020 is when the Xbox Series came out. Ooh, that doesn't narrow it down as much. Okay. Well, maybe we should specify 360 or Xbox
Yeah, let's
One.
specify 360, because if it's a yes, that makes it a lot easier.
Was this originally released for the Xbox 360? No. Oh, shit.
No. Oh.
Xbox One. Well, I mean, that narrows it down a lot.
It
does.
There's
nothing.
But
there's
I was
nothing
hoping,
exclusive.
I was hoping it was going to be like, oh, exclusive to Xbox 360 after 2010. Boom. Halo Reach. Halo 4. Real easy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot released on 360 after 2010. That's right. Okay, so this is an Xbox One game, assuming everything is legit.
Yeah. So it would have to be something from 2013 onwards.
So it could be Halo 5.
Could be Halo 5.
Could be Gears 4.
Those came out on PC.
I mean, so did Halo. Oh, Halo 5 never came to PC, did it?
No.
Should we ask if this is part of the Halo series?
We should.
Is this part of the Halo franchise? No. Fuck.
No.
Okay. An Xbox One exclusive. Man, I can't think of a whole lot that didn't come to PC.
Yeah.
Unless it's being stupid and it's, you know, I said platform, not console. So it shouldn't. It should exclude PC. Oh, also, I forgot to mention the 20 questions now has a hint system where you can sacrifice
a question
for a hint. So we can use that if we want to. I don't think we're there yet, though. We're only at
Did we ask if this was a first-party title?
No.
We should probably ask if it was a first-party title.
There isn't a lot of first parties back then for Xbox, was there?
There weren't a lot of third-party exclusives either.
This is so tough. This is like what we make fun of the Xbox One, and then of course it picks an Xbox One game.
You make fun of the Xbox
I made fun of it. Okay, so this is karma for me. That's true. Okay. Was this game developed by a first-party studio? No.
No.
So a third-party studio Xbox One exclusive. Well, hold on. What was my... Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Was this game originally exclusive to one platform? Yes. So it may have come to
It
other
may have
platforms
been, yeah,
eventually.
okay. It may have been ported elsewhere.
I'm wondering if it's Ori.
Could be Ori, could be Gears.
Yeah, Gears came to PC, right?
Yep.
Um,
Well, no, it couldn't be Gears because it's not a first-party studio, and Coalition is first-party. They're owned by
right.
Microsoft.
Yeah, Moon Studios is not first party. We established that during the topic of the week.
Yeah.
So it could be Ori.
Could be Ori.
I don't know how you narrow that down though. I could say is this a side scroller? No. Well, it is a side scroller, but I'd probably call it a Metroidvania more than anything else. It's just a 2D game.
Oh, but Ori uses 3D assets just on a side-scrolling plane, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess it depends on what AI considers 2D.
Yeah.
Um. I don't know where Moon Studios was like from.
You could just
I guess I could just
ask, was
ask.
this game developed by Moon Studios?
Yeah. No. Shit. Oh, we're in trouble. What
How many
the
questions
hell?
in are we? Like 7?
That was 10.
That was 10? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Do we take the hint? Or do we save the hint for the 19th question?
Yeah, yeah. I wonder how accurate the hints are.
If I remember correctly, it gives you 5 questions and it answers one of them.
Okay.
Like not a yes or no question, like it answers the question.
We should definitely try taking a hint at some point so that we can try to gauge its accuracy.
Maybe maybe now is a good time.
Maybe
at
now
11.
is a good time.
Okay, let's
Well, we
take a
still
hint.
have flexibility.
Okay, so it's not questions. It's specifics. So you can either choose to reveal the genre, the platform, the release year, the publisher, or the developer.
Developer.
So we know the platform, presumably.
Developer.
Developer?
Yeah, that'll narrow it down a lot.
Oh, there was 3 developers on this.
Okay.
Rare, Double Helix, and Iron Galaxy. What the hell did they work on? Oh, Rare Replay?
Oh.
No, that's first party, though. Rare's first party. So why would it have said it was... Well, Double Helix and Iron Galaxy are not first party. Maybe that's why it said that. It could be Rare Replay.
Rare Replay. Ask it if it was a compilation of games.
No. Shit. This was probably something that Rare assisted on before they released.
Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts?
Was that Xbox One? No, that was 360.
Pretty sure it was Xbox One.
Really? No.
I'm sure of it. Because if it was 360, I would have played it.
Yeah, but that's still first party, though.
But it says that Rare was involved. So we can't assume that the first party thing is necessarily accurate.
Yeah, this is true. Here's a good question. Do you play as a human?
Sure.
No. It could be Banjo. Okay.
That was a racing game, right?
No, it was like a exploration build vehicles to solve puzzles game.
Okay.
which is really hard to define.
I mean, you could ask, do you play as a bear?
That's very specific.
It's
okay.
very specific. To make it really easy.
No, you don't play as a bear.
But what if they counting the bird as well?
Yeah. I don't think that those that double helix and Iron Galaxy. I know who Iron Galaxy is, and I'm trying to picture what they make.
They've worked on ports of older games, which is why the Rare Replay seemed like a
Rare Replay. Yeah.
What was the other one you said? Double Helix?
Yeah.
I've heard. What do they do?
I've never heard of them.
I mean, I've heard of them, but it's also that's the structure of DNA, so I just might be thinking of science.
Yeah. The only thing I think of that is Soldier of Fortune. Yeah. That was the subtitle to the sequel.
There's also Fear Effect 2. No, that's Retro Helix, not Double Helix. I mean, maybe we take another hint.
I don't know what would help us. Genre? Yeah, maybe. The problem is if it says action adventure, it's not help at all. But I mean, release year and publisher are probably not going to help.
Wait, I've got an idea. Does the game have multiplayer?
Yes.
Maybe it's Sea of Thieves. But you play as a human in that.
Yeah, you definitely play as a human. Yeah.
No, sometimes you're a ghost.
I mean, you're a pirate, I guess.
Pirate ghost. Ghost pirate.
Does this game have multiplayer?
Korn's Groovy Mystery Adventure. South Park fans out there know what I'm talking about.
I wonder if Rare worked on the GoldenEye remake.
Like the fucking... That's not exclusive, though. The one where it was Daniel Craig?
I don't remember if Daniel Craig was in it.
Yeah, they used Daniel Craig's likeness in that one.
You're not talking about, like, GoldenEye Rogue Agent or something like that, right?
No.
It was just Golden... I think it was just a straight up
but it wasn't
remaster.
It was a No, there was a remaster, but it never got released. And that
it did. It's on Xbox Game Pass. I've played it.
Is it just the port of GoldenEye for the N64?
It's basically just a port, yeah. But
there was a remaster that was planned for the 360, and it was completed, but it was never released.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the remaster that they released on Game Pass. It's got some like upgrades and stuff. Like it's not just
play as a person in that.
Shit.
Unambiguously.
Fuck. Yeah, fuck. I didn't think about that.
The closest thing you get to not playing as a person is playing as Jaws. Because he's got metal teeth. So he's like 99% person and 1% metal.
I honestly can't even think of anything else on Xbox One.
Well, what other Rare games on Xbox One do you play as a not human?
Well, here's the thing, is that before they worked on Sea of Thieves, I'm pretty sure they just did a bunch of, like, helping out with other teams. So this might be, like something that Double Helix made that Rare helped on. But Rare was the first on the list.
Yeah.
All right, I think we need to take a hint.
Going back to their days of developing games for LJN.
All right, let's risk genre. If it says action adventure, I'll fucking cry. A fighting game. What? Rare?
They made the original Killer Instinct.
Oh shit! It's got to be Killer Instinct, the remake.
But they didn't make the remake.
Who did?
Some like Amazon Game Studios or some shit.
No way. It's got to be Killer Instinct.
I mean, you could ask, is this a game in the Killer Instinct franchise? And without saying, is this Killer Instinct?
Yeah, let's, yeah. Yep.
It is.
It's the Killer Instinct remake. It's
okay,
gotta be.
Then ask if it's the Killer Instinct remake.
But I don't know what it's called.
It's just called Killer Instinct.
Yep.
Woo! Okay. There we are.
That is definitely a first party title though.
Yeah. I have got to check. Because I could have sworn that Rare did not work on that.
No, it says on IGN's Killer Instinct page that Rare made it. And they gave it an 8.4. Yeah. Developed by Rare, Double Helix, and Iron Galaxies, published by Microsoft.
Yeah, it was developed by Double Helix. And co-developed
by Rare and Iron Galaxy.
By Iron Galaxy. And I guess they credit Rare because they created the original games.
Yeah, Double Helix doesn't make anything decent, really. That's basically their claim to fame. They made, like, Front Mission Evolved, whatever that was, some G.I. Joe games, a Battleship game, the Strider remake, which was actually pretty good. Oh, and Silent Hill Homecoming.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yuck. Damn. That's not a good one. Yeah, no. So Double Helix is not a first party, so that's why it said. Okay. That must be why it said that it wasn't a first party game. Otherwise, it was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Because it was for... it was on PC, though.
It was.
And Xbox One.
Yeah.
So we can never count out PC, I guess, when we're asking it. But that was much more accurate than last time. Nothing was fundamentally incorrect. The thing is,
it launched on Xbox One and then eventually came to PC later.
Well, that's true. So it was accurate in that question then, because that's what I said. I said, was it originally exclusive to one platform?
Yeah.
And it was. Hey, I don't know whether we got lucky or it's improved, but hey,
I'll take it.
I would say that's our first co-op win, I would say.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna write that sucker down as co-op pick number 1. Killer Instinct for Xbox One. Win! All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the first episode of Press Pause, a gaming podcast in 2025. You made it through.
Yeah. Hopefully I will sound normal.
Yeah.
On the next one.
Go have a big drink. You sound actually pretty decent now. It's almost like your throat warmed up over the course of the hour. And now
I think it probably helped just to talk through it.
Yeah. Force your way through that.
Yeah.
If you want to reach me, I am at TJ-Leo on BlueSky.
I am also on BlueSky at nninjas.bsky.social. I remember
You're no longer on Twitter?
I still have an account, but I haven't used it in fucking forever.
Yeah. You can email in your questions to the show at co.op.podcasts@gmail.com. And Dante keeps headbutting my knee, and I keep trying to pick him up, and then he runs away.
Yep.
That has been episode 28 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. We will be back next week, hopefully with a look at what happened at the Xbox Developer Direct, and for all the normal shenanigans that we get up to.
Yep.
Hope you had a good holiday. Happy New Year, and welcome to 2025.
We out.